Welcome back to Movie Dumpster, Season 8, Episode 7. Today we're talking about Cheech and Chong's Nice Dreams from 1981, directed by Tommy Chong. And is Nice Dreams the beginning of the end for Cheech and Chong? We're going to talk about it. I'm Joe Lascola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
And I'm Wyatt from Cinema Trip Reviews.
Welcome to the dumpster. Here we are, guys. We're still smoking.
Well, yeah, I mean, before I got in the car and drove over here, not to just call me right on it instantly.
420 is upon us, I believe, around in the pocket, right?
We're close.
I don't think we're making it for 420, but you can spin this on 420.
Well, 420 is Easter this year, so no,
Yeah.
we're maybe a couple days early.
Hey.
Get your Easter eggs out, get your bowls out.
Jesus is going to smoke them if you got them, dude.
Your green eggs and ham in quotations. Not even a real term for weed at all. Hash.
What the fuck?
Green eggs and hash.
Green eggs and hash, but you killed your own joke.
Chong's got it on that ping in the first one. He drops it in Cheech's lap. That's it. I got there somehow.
He's got that Labrador. He's got that Tide stick. He's got all that shit. You know, that shit tied to a stick. Yeah,
exactly. But
out of all the movies they did, it's funny they didn't do an Easter one because they could put all the different things inside of the plastic eggs.
Oh yeah, well it'd be like
the
Easter grass. You're smoking your Easter
there
grass.
You go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Roll it up.
Cheech Chong, if you're watching, I know you have your last movie coming up, but there's an idea if you want to take
Got
it.
3 writers right here.
Right, credit us, please.
This might have been. This probably should have been their last movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
As you get deeper, I mean, we'll probably talk about it as we get into the episode, but yeah, this might be the one where it's like, there's a cutoff.
Yeah. Before we get into this, we have Wyatt in the video dungeon for the first time, in the flesh. We always like to have our friends finally come down into this. I mean, we've done some remote guest appearances on your show, but it's the first time, not only the first time you're on our show, but you're sitting here, which is incredible. You're not on the television.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, for those who don't know, we did talk about Up in Smoke a while ago on my channel. For those who don't know, Cinema Trip Reviews, definitely go check that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, pleasure being here, man.
Yeah, of course, man. I was going to say, let's plug your stuff.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Cinema Trip Reviews.
Yeah.
The Up in Smoke review kind of spurred this idea. I only want to get you down here regardless, but I was kind of like put the idea in my head, and you hit us up to kind of do a crossover and then come on your show too, and it kind of worked out that way. But,
I mean, there's so many
ahead.
Cheech and Chong movies though to cover. So I mean, I'm sure we can come back to like next movie eventually, or how many other ones that they have out there. Who knows?
Do one of the really weird ones. Yeah,
one of the very weird ones.
What's the one that comes after this? It's like I forget what it's called.
I'd have to check Letterboxd or Wikipedia. I'm not sure.
It's got some long ass name, but they're like two they play like 2 Indian guys that are like laundering
Which is
money.
one where they go back in time, or like
I have no idea.
I forget.
You were talking about that on the Up in Smoke episode we did with them. I forget what it's called too, but yeah, there's one where there's like a time travel story or something.
Is it the Korskin brothers?
That's what I'm
is
thinking
that what
of.
it?
Yeah,
Is that
it might
a
be
time
that
travel
one.
story?
Might not be
I think
time
so.
Oh, I thought it's a period.
Well, I don't know
piece.
if it's a period piece. I don't know if it's time travel.
Yeah.
It's weird though.
Yeah.
Cheech and Chong.
I haven't seen it in forever, so I wouldn't be surprised if time travel with Joe Buchanan, John Hurt's involved somehow in the movie Dumpster universe, right?
Oh, dude, he's pulling that fucking Led Zeppelin, boy, and they're cruising through the galaxy, the cosmos.
Oh God, yeah,
Space trucking.
Yes. Come on. But yeah, man, where can we find Cinema Trip Reviews? Like, let everybody know.
Yeah, mostly, I mean, you can check us out on YouTube at Cinema Trip Reviews. Pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts, make sure to drop in, leave us a good review there. We cover anything from new movies in theaters all the way to the classics in cinema, Cinema Trip retro reviews, and pretty much anything in between.
Awesome, dude. But yeah, man, before we get into all of the fucking joint smoking, do they even smoke in this? Yeah, I think they do. They smoke like twice.
A bit.
They definitely are trying to get, much like the last 2 movies, they're trying to find some smoke. They don't always actually find it.
I'm not, like they have a bunch of it, but I think like Tommy only smokes like twice, maybe.
They do more coke than they
do more coke than they smoke weed.
They sell a lot in this, though.
Cheech and Chong snorts coke. That's the next movie.
They don't really have like a quest that they go on throughout this movie like they do in Up in Smoke or like even next movie.
That might be the problem.
There's not really a through line throughout this movie.
To be fair, there's actually a plot reason why they might not be smoking. It's actually a plot device. This weed they keep getting might be tainted. We're going to talk about it.
But yeah, before we get into the Nice Dreams, TM, if you want some more Movie Dumpster content, you can head over to patreon.com/Movie Dumpster. You can get an ad-free audio version of the show for only $2 a month, and you can get some other great stuff at the $5 or $10 tiers. We also have a YouTube membership program now where you can sign up for that. It doesn't have all the perks that the Patreon does, so I don't know. see which one you like better. Do you want the Patreon? Do you want the YouTube? I don't know. But if you do want it, help support your favorite show.
And if you're watching here on YouTube, please like the video and share it, and subscribe if you're not already. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast app, leave us 5 stars and a review if you got the time. Even a sentence helps get the word out on the show. We always want to get more people in here, listening to the show, watching the show, in your eyeballs, eardrums, everything in between. What do I always say? Let your friends know about the show. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Like we always say, those reviews mean more than everything. So if you could do that, that'd be great. You can also head over to moviedumpsterpodcast.com. We have a store there if you want to buy some stuff to support the show. We also have a calendar there where you can find out where the Dumpster Boys are going to be. Coming up on May 17th, we're going to be at Creep Show Beach Show, presented by Found Footage Festival, Crypt Video Rentals, and Vintage View Cinemas. They're going to be showing Creep Show on a giant screen on the beach where they filmed Something That Tied You Over in Seaside Heights, New Jersey. You don't want to miss it. Grab your tickets now. And then from July 11th to the 13th, we're going to be at VHS Fest 9. They got an awesome lineup this year, including special guest Frank Henenlotter, which is amazing. And that, of course, is going to be at the mighty Mahoning Drive-In Theater in Lehighton, PA. So grab your tickets now. But yeah, check it out at moviedumpsterpodcast.com. Okay, boys. So Cheech and Chong's Nice Dreams. I got to tell you right out of the gate, I thought I really liked this movie. I talked it up on Wyatt's show, and I was like, man, we got to do Nice Dreams. We got to do Nice Dreams. And then I watched it today, and I was like, it's not as good as I remember.
No, it's not.
And I think you alluded to it perfectly before. You're like, oh, they don't have like a mission.
Yeah.
There's no story beat. It's just like very paper thin what they're doing, and it's not really even technically explained, but we'll get into it. It's a lot of visual storytelling.
Yeah.
Yes.
And kind of just like, here you go. They begin.
They find the plot at about the hour mark, and it's like an hour and a half long. And it's like, all right, now they finally do have something to do, but it is a lot of just skit after skit, which I kind of love, but I get where you guys are coming from.
Yeah.
I love the skit after skit stuff. That's not the problem I have. The problem I have is like they feel like they don't know what they're doing in this movie. Even the skits like run long.
Some of them do.
And you're kind of like, okay, can we get to the next? We get it. We got the joke. Go to the next thing.
Yeah, no.
Like, I don't know. I don't think you got this joke yet.
No.
Let's run it on for another couple minutes. Let it marinate a little bit. You find it funny yet?
And it's funny you said it. It's only an hour and a half, but it feels longer because of that to me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I was thinking about with Up in Smoke specifically. I didn't go back and rewatch the second one this year yet. But that first one, I think we even talked about on your show how there's a lot of cut scenes and extra material on the editing room floor. This, like to your point, I don't know how much is really cut out. Yeah, maybe they were just kind of trying to get to the end of the runtime now. I mean, they've talked about it in interviews at the time what they were trying to do. Pretty much just trying to make another movie for people that like the first two. It wasn't really that more involved in that from what I found out in my little bit of research. They were just happy to make another one of these. Paramount was paying for the fucking movie. Tommy Chong directed this one. I know he kind of dabbled a little bit in those first couple.
Yeah.
But he actually got the credit. They both wrote this one, which they're pretty much writing all their skits in a lot of these, I would have to imagine.
Yeah, I mean, that's how they kind of function. But I just feel like they might have put the bong down for just a little bit and been like, hey, let's actually put like a cohesive story in here.
It seemed like they were writing a lot of this like while they were filming it.
That's what I mean.
They were
what
just
it feels
Tommy
like.
Chong sitting back in his director's chair, making notes.
You know, it'd be funny, man, if we like, what if we did this and we just like ad-libbed it? Okay, it's in the movie now.
Yeah.
We did it in the last two movies. Why not?
That funny conversation we had last night. I don't really remember the whole thing. Oh, that's all right. We'll figure it out.
Just wing it.
Just wing it.
There's
It's
a
like
few
telling
of
a
those.
bad joke, like because you can't remember how to fucking do the joke or the punchline.
There's a lot of asides where it's like there is actually a funny point to what they're talking about, but it could have been truncated. Like there's a scene when they're walking to pick up some weed, and it's like, this is kind of funny what they're talking about, but can we just get in there and see Jimmy, this weird guy Jimmy with the iguanas? But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There is stuff like that.
I
You're
feel
right.
like the actual conversations between Cheech and Chong and this one, as opposed, it doesn't seem as tight as the first two.
Yeah, that's I guess what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still funny, but it's not tight at all.
Yeah.
I feel like they don't know what they're talking about to each other a lot of the time, and they're like not on the same like wavelength.
I feel like you have some of that in maybe the first 20 minutes to a half hour of the movie, and then it really kind of goes downhill as far as that aspect of the movie.
100%, I agree.
There is also them kind of leaning into these characters they've personified going on probably like 15, 20 years now. You got to remember, not that you don't remember, but like when they were touring for like almost 10 years just doing the radio kind of stuff, the music with the comedy, the rock and roll kind of stuff.
Stage shows and stuff.
Yeah. So it's like I wonder if it was starting to become kind of rote for them. But again, it's still printing checks. It wasn't printing as many checks as those first two films. If you look at the box office, they still made money. Don't get me wrong, but you see it's going down each film.
They just about made their money back for this movie. Also, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, kind of thing. You know?
We even talked about that, not to make a direct comparison, but I feel like it's a fair one. Rudy Ray Moore's career.
Yeah.
Obviously, he didn't just disappear after Disco Godfather, but in the movies, it was like, that's kind of the end of Rudy's career, for better or worse.
Which is bad.
For us, for people that like comedy.
Yeah.
And for Rudy.
I just mean in general, like his fucking, his career.
Yeah.
I mean, Cheech and Chong go on to make more movies than this, but this is only their third movie, Sean. They should still be fucking fresh and ready to go.
That's a good point, yeah.
You mentioned before, like, oh, maybe they burned it all out after the first two. I'm like, if they burned it all out after the first two movies, then maybe they shouldn't even made this one, you know what
I mean? I guess, that's a good point. I meant in the context of how long they've been together doing comedy, but
That's what I was going to say. How long were they, when they start, like in the 60s?
Something like
at that point.
Yeah.
So they were doing it maybe for 10 years up to this point?
And so this was 81, I think?
Yeah, this is 81, yeah. But they were been together for over a decade.
Over a decade,
you know? So it's here nor there. There are some funny bits to this movie, but it's the third movie. I just feel like, I don't know. It was just wobbly to begin with.
Yeah.
And you were saying like, oh, Paramount just gave him a bunch of fucking money, and like
that's what they talk about.
But it kind of feels like that. Like they're just like, okay, man, we'll take this suitcase of money and we'll just do something.
Well, that's why I watched Cheech and Chong. They were talking about. I don't even remember the interview. Or maybe it was fucking Barbara Walters, for Christ's sake. It doesn't matter. But they were like, yeah, we did Up in Smoke. Someone took a chance. John Adler took a chance on us, and Paramount took a chance on us. Made a shitload of money, and then they just basically got free reign from there on. They were just kind of like, oh, you want to do another one? Okay, yeah, sure. Here's the check.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know, maybe they were kind of in autopilot on some level.
Maybe they needed an actual director like to
instead
kind
of
of
Tommy,
reel them in, and that way make sure everything.
Doing bong rips after each take or whatever they were doing. Yeah.
That's exactly what we were talking about before too, because I think Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke has a different director.
It's John Adler,
John Adler, there you go. And Tommy did direct some things because, it's their bits, it's their skits, but I feel like you need somebody to wrangle all of the shit together, or else you end up with something like this, where it's kind of misguided, it's very loose, it's not very tight. The conversations don't, like, you can't just be like, okay, Joe and Sean, go, be funny. And we're like,
Wow.
Yeah, man. So we're here, and there's this cup, dude. Like, where did this cup come from? I don't know. Maybe it was made. I don't like.
We gotta make it work, but I see what you mean.
But when you're making a fucking movie, you don't just do that. Like, my point is, like, you need to be like, okay, this is what the conversation's about. This is the joke. We need to run through this a few times and see what works and what doesn't, and then we can kind of ad lib on the joke itself.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I think also, like, Cheech and Chong, they're known for their skits, and and you see that in the first two movies.
100%.
This one, it doesn't feel like they're actual skits. It just came up with like just different ideas for different places. Like, oh, it'd be funny if Cheech was hanging off of an elevator half naked.
Yeah, you're right. Skits is even the right word. I keep saying that, but
I
guess you know what I
word.
mean.
Yeah.
Skits is the right word because they're situational comedy bits that string together the whole narrative.
Yeah. Like with Up in Smoke, I think of that first meeting with them in the car, and that's a bit like them having the big dude, Led Zeppelin, and then my parked
ride, man, and then like that's just it.
Yeah,
they hit it off.
Yeah, and you don't really have too much of that within this movie, really.
Well, I also always, and we didn't really get into the plot yet. I guess we're kind of almost creeping into it, but like almost as a spiritual successor to that first film, mostly because of Sadanko coming back. Even though he is kind of Stacy Keach's character, he's very different in this film, but he's kind of the carryover. Cheech and Chong, they always have different names in every one of these movies, but they're basically the same character. He's like Pedro in the first one.
Yeah, he actually calls him Cheech in this movie.
Yeah.
Which is odd. Yeah.
I don't know if Chong is just Chong.
No, he's man.
He's the man.
He's man again. Okay, that's a kind of funny running gag.
That's Chong.
Yeah. Just he's that hippie guy. He's Chong, Tommy Chong. Yeah.
It's also that thing of like the way they're credited in the credits.
Yeah,
is like Richard Cheech Marin.
Well, right.
And Thomas Chong. And I was like, oh, excuse me.
Well, they also
sorry, Thomas.
Yeah.
They do that confusing shit. I mean, you're not supposed to overthink it. We're overthinking it because we're movie fans and we're on a podcast. But it's like they reuse a lot of actors. Like Evelyn Guerrero plays Donna, the character Donna, in multiple movies. But it's not the same Donna. But then it's also this thing where Cheech. Oh, I had a relationship with her. Ooh, it's a hot woman. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Wasn't it? It was Tommy Chong's wife, wasn't it?
I believe so. So I went to
didn't
look
know
that
that.
up beforehand. But
The chick with the tits in the gym.
Oh, yeah.
Is that real? That's his wife?
I don't know if it was his. I think they were together for a while
okay.
because her
Oh.
last name is Chong.
I'm not talking about that scene. I'm
Oh, what
talking
are you
Evelyn
talking
Guerrero's the woman that takes her back to her apartment.
oh,
She's-
Donna.
Donna, yeah.
Yeah, we're
'cause
not there yet, but
Yeah,
yeah.
well, I'm just bringing that up specifically
Yeah.
because it's like she's in next movie. She's also Cheech's girlfriend in that movie. There's
Okay.
a funny scene at the police station
Yeah.
where they're like fucking behind like some desks and
Yeah.
shit like that. I just like that they bring actors back.
Oh, 100%.
It's very common in today's movie making, but they would just say, fuck it, you're the same named character. You're just Donna again.
It's just funny to see
I
him.
don't know.
Like, yeah, it's just funny to see him like pop up as the same.
yeah,
dude.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even call Stacy Keach like by name Stadenko. It's on his little name
Right.
plate on his desk.
They call him
They
Sarge.
just call him Sergeant. Yeah,
They don't even see Cheech and Chong.
No.
like they don't. They're not. They don't interact at all.
Which is kind of similar to the first one on some level. Oh, they do see him at least in the first
Well, yeah, I
one.
mean, he was chasing them around,
Yeah.
but like, we should have had some of that in this movie. Like, you think like Stacy Keach is still trying to catch these guys? Why isn't he out there trying to catch
Well,
them?
after the end of the first one, he got a little taste of
Yeah.
that green, and he's fucking obsessed now.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get into that. All right. So, do you want to plot crunch this real quick? Shouldn't take too much.
I mean, what kind of plot is there? I mean,
I think that's what Joe's
because
implying.
even after watching the movie, I was trying to figure out because they do have they want to get paid for. I mean, they're ice cream guys. That's why Nice Dreams comes from is the ice cream truck.
Yeah.
that has the super creepy ass head.
Yeah.
on
Oh
top
God,
of it.
they got that from the Terenzi brothers. One of their extra trucks, Killer Clowns.
But from my understanding is like they haven't been paid yet, so they're waiting to get paid from this guy. And then their operation gets busted. So they're on the move. They don't really do a good job of explaining what they're doing throughout the movie.
I think the plot is they sell weed, they make a lot of money, and then Pee Wee Herman steals it,
Yup.
and then they get it
I'm
back.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Because Chong's a
I'm
little
so sorry.
too naive and just trusts some random guy that does coke with them at a restaurant.
Well, right, but it's just like I think that's the plot.
No, it is. It is.
Well, I mean, they
very paper thin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, they're talking about like, oh, they owe us this much. Like, he's like, we're $17 million. He's like, well,
like,
that can't
we-
be right.
Well, we just made $17 million, and he's like, we're gonna
can't be
buy
right.
a fucking island, and we're gonna buy this. We're gonna be drinking pina coladas.
But they're having that conversation at their house, like after they have the jam sesh,
Yeah.
talking about like, well, where are we getting this money? Like, don't worry, it's coming to you, man. And
Yeah.
like, and then they get busted, and then they have the money all of a sudden. But I just don't know.
It's like a MacGuffin. I don't know.
Yeah,
You're
it doesn't.
right.
It doesn't flow. Again, like you mentioned, it's like an hour into the movie where they're finally like, "Oh, the money's gone. We got to figure out how
And
they
like,
get
wait,
the money."
Where did you get the money from in the first place?
Yeah, exactly.
They get distracted with some sexcapades for like 20 minutes, but yeah, eventually they remember like, oh fuck, we had this shit ton of money. Where'd it go?
Yeah, and then there's only-
Chong's like nonplussed. He's like, whatever.
There's only 25 minutes of the movie left. We got to find some sort of plot in here.
Well, I guess we'll get there.
Yeah, you're right though. It is very, very like 2 sentences and then just bunch of shit tacked on.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Terrible plot crunch. Sorry, Joe.
No, you're good.
It was accurate though, honestly.
Again, another trick
It's as
question.
mishmashed as the movie was.
just like Night Killer.
Just like the Night Killer. It was a trick question because there's kind of really no plot. And we're just going through the motions of a Cheech and Chong movie question mark. Yeah, we open up with their ice cream truck, and it's already not an ice cream truck.
Yeah.
Like, they sell weed, and it's called Nice Dreams. It fucking says Bud on it.
yeah, Herb.
Herb or whatever
Spray
it says on
paint,
it. Yeah,
the
yeah.
N and the D on the back of the ice cream truck.
But, like, you would think that, I think that's a mistake number one, right? Like, it should have been an ice cream truck.
Yeah.
And they sell weed out of it, and it's not like this blatantly obvious, like, oh yeah, they just sell weed.
Yeah,
That would have been funnier to me.
I agree. I feel like a lot of times though, Cheech and Chong, like they almost make it really obvious as like a fuck you to like stupid people, like the
Yeah.
stupid cops can't figure this out, even though it's really obvious. But you're right, it would definitely be funnier if it was like undercover, like Sanka's in there from Cool Runnings freezing his ass off, right, smoking a doobie.
just for instance, like the funny part about Up in Smoke is that they're driving a fucking van made out of marijuana
They
and
don't
they're
know.
dry.
Yeah, we
And
can't
they-
find anything. We looked all over town.
Yeah, we looked all over the place. We can't find any weed, and they're driving a literal van made out of it. And Stadenko knows that it's made out of weed,
Yeah.
but
Right,
they
yeah.
don't. And that's the goof.
That is why it is funny. You're right.
But this is just like, yeah, man, we sell weed, but it's like an ice cream truck or whatever, and they look like push pops.
Yeah.
Oh, and they sell it instantly to an undercover cop who pulls up in a fucking limo.
Well, that's the plan. Like, what was their plan of? Because they're at a park. They pull up to. What if other families come up and like, yeah, we want ice cream? Do they actually have ice cream to be like,
what I mean. That's
or
what
they just tell him like, ah, fuck off.
That's what I mean. There's like no front. It's just like, oh, these two guys driving around in a weed truck.
Well, they're out there playing music, by the way.
He's like, yeah, let's practice a while.
Save the whales.
Save the whale.
Oh, that part is kind of funny.
Save the whale.
Funky whale.
And big funky whale. It's kind of a shame because it's like the only music that we get
Yeah.
in it. And like, you know.
It does open with Cheech's actual song. There's a lot of his own music
Yeah,
in
Nice
Up in
Dreams.
Smoke.
but they're not performing it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's not them like in Up in Smoke they do like the
Battle of the Bands at the end.
Battle of the Bands, but like what's the one where they do like the Mexican American
That's
song?
the next movie.
That's next
Yeah, they're
movie,
practicing
yeah.
at their house.
Yeah.
They do a lot of music shit in their movies, but you're right, because even in the soundtrack for that first movie, it's just a lot of music with Cheech. I don't know if he had
Yeah.
a band at the time or not. I'm actually a little ignorant on that, but
Well, they did comedy albums, and that's what it was.
Oh, I guess
there
that
was
is- yeah.
music and
Duh.
there was skits. Yeah,
duh.
that's what I'm saying. A big
yeah.
part of that is missing from this movie, and you can feel it happening.
Yeah.
as it's going.
Only at the beginning. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
good song, though. Save
No,
the
it's
whales.
funny as hell.
But
He's like,
shoot the seals.
but shoot the
Oh,
seals.
God, you fucked
Yeah.
the seals. I'm like, what?
Seals.
We get instead of Stadenko, now he's replaced by Peter Jason.
Right.
Who's like a
Yeah.
big he's in a bunch of Carpenter shit. He's in They Live. You've seen him all over the place. And he plays Lieutenant Drooler.
Hair's all over the place.
He's all fucked
Looks
up.
like Jeff Daniels in Dumb and Dumber.
Kinda, dude.
The mop top.
And like he's tailing them with noodles from Up in Smoke.
Well, you know who he is? It's Master Boy from Mortal Kombat.
Hi, Johnny.
Or he's this could actually be Shao Kahn. This is the movie Dumpster Universe, folks. Everything is connected.
Oh, it's Shang Tsung.
What I say, Shao Kahn? I fucked that up. Listeners, you know by now. Go back, listen to every time I mention his asshole, I fuck it up. The guy that can turn into other people is what I meant.
Imagine if it was Shang Tsung driving around like, we're gonna get those Cheech and Chongs.
Their soul will be mine.
Your weed is mine.
Yeah, with Noodles. Noodles is just like ignoring it the whole time. The other cop from Up in Smoke, because again, a lot of the cop characters
Noodles
do
is giving him a
return.
fucking blowjob while they're driving around.
Well, as we're gonna find out later, yeah, Noodles.
It's possible.
He's into that, yeah.
So they're tailing him, and they're like, "Oh, we got him, Sergeant Stadenko. They bought the weed. Look, we got it right here." You go into Stadenko's office, and it's Stacy Keach, and you're like, "Oh, great, Stacy Keach is back. This is gonna be fucking hilarious."
God.
Because he's got some of the funniest bits from that first movie. And now he's like, and like Sean alluded to earlier, like now that he had a little taste of that green at the end of Up in Smoke, dude, he's just like full, like long hair.
Acapulco shirt.
He's got
on.
yeah.
He's sitting there. He's in his office watching porn.
And yeah,
smoking a
God.
pipe.
There's like a tit, and he's
Getting
like,
licked.
and it's like getting licked, and he's smoking this pipe,
puffing on his pipe.
which is fun. And you're
The funny thing is that was actually a clip from Night Killer. It was when the killer was, with the waxed woman, mask to mask. Yeah, that was the scene.
licking that titty.
Yeah. Can't believe he had the VHS copy.
Oh my gosh.
But like now he's just like a pothead that works at the police station, which should be funny.
Well, that's got that huge marijuana leaf with like the target through it.
Well, yeah, because they're like the task force, the narcopto or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
You know, they come in. Peter Jason comes in. He's like, "Well, look, we got it, Sergeant." He's like, we're gonna have to test this. We're gonna have to get this analyzed in the lab." He's like, "I'll do it. Leave it right
He's
here."
like, what do you mean? It looks and smells just like marijuana.
Yeah,
He
but
pulls
we
it out.
gotta be
It's like 4
sure.
sticks inside of that tube.
It's like a Flintstones fucking push pop, but it's
The
like
Tide
weed.
stick, man.
yeah.
The stuff that's tied to the stick?
Yeah,
Oh,
there it
that's
is.
definitely the reference. Yeah. Oh my
100%,
God.
yeah.
I missed that.
So instead of like, putting it in evidence or being like, I'm gonna get those Cheech and Chongs, he lights it up this fucking like vaporizer and like starts smoking.
I didn't know they had.
first, locks the door.
Yeah,
I didn't know they had vapes like that in the early
always
80s, late
forget.
70s.
Well,
But it's so
they-
cool. It's like a gun.
Well,
Yeah,
it was a prop that was built, so I don't know if they even had this.
Oh, okay.
The way that they built, because I was like, what the
He's
fuck?
ahead of his time.
I was like, what the fuck is this? They had a vaporizer gun then? And they like built it like specifically for the movie.
That would get you so fucking
That is
high.
awesome.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that. I was like, wow, if that's real, Stacy Keach would be out of his mind.
This is like the beginning of the gags, though, that don't really line up because you have this funny bit with this pigeon that's like sitting on the thing
I
and
was
he
gonna
blows
bring
the
that
smoke out.
Yeah.
And it hits the pigeon. But then you don't get the payoff for that till like 4 or 5 scenes later.
Yeah.
Instead of
Takes a while.
just like it being the funny part right there.
Yeah. Definitely the editing could have been a little better on
Yeah.
this.
Definitely.
But yeah, he's got like nothing to do, Stacy Keach. Like he
I wonder if
doesn't.
they only had him for a couple days or something.
He fucking barely says anything. He smokes a joint and turns into a fucking lizard.
Well,
Just put
starts
these
to
prosthetics
devolve.
on.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
dude,
cool.
dude, he's smoking fucking Koopa City 1 shit.
That's what I'm saying, though. Yeah, it's almost like because at one point when he starts to really transform, it's a little later in the film. We'll talk about it, but he's like going down to like one-word sentences.
De-evolve, Cretaceous.
Yeah.
Bugs.
Bugs.
But yeah, he's criminally underused in this movie.
Yeah.
I would have, like, even though it would have been kind of mirroring what they did in the first movie, I would have much rather, like, had him on their trail throughout the movie still.
But that's
still trying to catch him, and then he can, since he smokes now, he can try to be one step ahead of them somehow.
Well, that's the whole thing, because he's like, you got to smoke weed to catch a smoker or
But
whatever.
he doesn't.
No, he's just like, I'm going to get high in my office and just do nothing.
Well, and they have the janitors like knocking on the doors, like, hey, let me get some of that.
I smell you sparking up in there. Can I get some of
I'll
that?
come back when you're off the wall. I'll order recess
Later.
Oh God,
He's
yeah,
like,
that's
"I'll come
funny.
back."
Okay, see
Can
ya.
I get some of that?
That's a good running gag, though.
But to your point, though, like, there's none of that to move the story along, and that's why it feels like we're
Driving
just going
force,
to
yeah.
we're just going to the next thing and bopping back and forth, and it's kind of like, oh, what are you doing now? I don't know. I'm sitting in my office smoking weed. Okay. What's Cheech and Chong doing? I don't know. They're walking around talking about something.
Yeah, well, they do this thing, which I actually kind of like, where they have a lot of these aerial shots.
Yeah.
Which they didn't actually implement into the movie, which, again, this is maybe one of those jokes. When they actually finally do show what the joke is, it goes on for too long. But it's like, oh, shit, they're actually the cops in the helicopter. It's not just an aerial shot, because they go to, like, they follow these chicks that they meet at, like, a stop sign.
We want your big, juicy stick.
Yeah, these guys are crazy, by the way. Like, obviously, they're just messing with them, but they're like, no, we are following these chicks home. We are going to
Fuck them, is what they're thinking.
They pull up, they're like, there's the car, and then Chong's more interested in the fucking vehicle. He's like, oh, this is like a classic, man.
My dad had one of these, and like those jokes kind of get lost in the mix there.
While Cheech is like, fixing his shirt, going up to the door, rings the bell, which is now kind of a cliche joke. Maybe in '81, not so much, but the big, greasy, huge dad.
Big guy. Yeah.
Or dad, or whatever,
or husband, or
He's like-
something.
he's like, I got your big stick right here.
Yeah, guy looks like he's gonna beat his fucking head in.
But instead of this guy like punching Cheech in the face and him like flying comically or something like that, it's just like, okay, man, well, see you later, and they just leave.
And then Chong just walks up. He's like, hey, can I talk to the broads that own the car?
He's still trying to get laid, not even reading the room.
No, he just wants to talk about the car.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, you're right, actually.
Which is kind of funny.
But you're right. Like, going back to the Stacy Keach thing, like, that was some of the best parts about Up in Smoke was not only do you have the funny stuff with Cheech and Chong, but you have the shenanigans with the officers, because everybody around him is incompetent, and he's just like so frustrated the whole movie, but you don't have any of that.
You need that foil, like the whole scene with the fucking nuns when he throws the fucking joint in their car and they pull it. They're like, we got him, sir, the nuns.
They both
and then they
piss on
drive
his
away
leg.
over the border.
Both of them, piss on his leg throughout the movie.
So fucking funny.
He's a great actor,
You get back
too.
here.
Yeah, he does feel wasted here, but I still like the cameo. It's just, you guys are right. He would have been so much better in that other role. I don't know, maybe they thought that would be repetitive, but hey, it would have been better.
I think he's so good, like, not to use him like that. He's
yeah,
so good at
exactly.
playing that straight guy.
And
like
he's
that.
so fucking funny too, and it's just like we were just saying before, you could have did something funny where now he's like a reefer head and he's just like eating or something, or like, yeah, whatever. I mean, he kind of is doing that because now all of that shit about chasing after them and stuff is given to Peter Jason.
I was gonna say, and he's pretty funny, but he's no Stacy Keach. And again, Noodles is funny with the visual gags. Like, they even have him playing like a Tiger Electronics at one point, not giving a fuck. And with the binoculars, there's a lot of good gags later, which is a little bit of a callback to Up in Smoke. But yeah, you're right. It's like without Sedenko there, it's just kind of like a little limp.
Yeah, the other dude's just there to yell at Noodles the whole movie. Pretty much. Give me the binoculars, Noodles. Let me see. Let me see.
There's like one part where fucking Noodles is like smacking like walnuts with a billy club.
Oh yeah, later
It's just like, okay,
it's a fake out because they think he's beating up a criminal.
Yeah.
Speaking of the criminal, they think that's getting beating up later. This guy Jimmy, they walk to his house, and this is one of those like irreverent scenes where they're chit chatting about some bullshit.
Yeah.
they have that whole fucking scene in their beachfront house with that blind guy who plays the piano that lives with them.
I forgot about that. They call him Ray.
Yeah, Ray. He's like, "What's up, Ray?" And Ray's playing a fucking
Jamming.
smooth beat, and fucking
Cheech is in there like spraying down all his plants, and he's in front of the biggest window in the house that the cops are looking.
and the cops
at.
are like, "There he is!"
Yeah, hugging them.
Keeps all of his plants right in front of this big window.
We got him dead to rights.
That was funny. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
But that scene though that you mentioned, like with the aerial shots and them walking, it felt like a documentary.
Yeah, it's
like,
weird.
Yeah.
Like it had the calming music playing, and they're just walking, just talking. Like,
That'll be in last movie. They'll definitely have something like that,
it
right?
seemed like a documentary.
There's a whole scene where he's making fucking tortillas on the oven on the
that was
on the
pretty
stove.
funny, though.
And,
Burns
like,
the shit out of them.
and he's
This
like, "I
one's
got some
burnt,
pizza,
man."
man," and he's like just cutting up chunks of cheese.
He gives it to Ray.
Yeah. He's like, "Don't eat
feed
that,
him
man.
that."
Don't eat that."
It's like, all right, I'll make a pizza, just throw some cheese on it.
That is a good scene though, where there's gag after gag after gag.
It's
Yeah.
funny, but again, the one where they go to his brother's house or his cousin's house in the first movie.
Oh, Strawberry?
Yeah,
Well,
Strawberry.
that's way
Strawberry.
funnier.
Yeah,
Don't mention anything about his face, man.
What are you looking at? And he flips
I ain't
out.
looking at his neck, man.
I ain't looking at your neck, man. No,
There's the Vietnam stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
No, that
but
is
like,
way
but
funnier.
all the characters that kind of walk through that house and they're like, snorting fucking
Ajax.
Ajax
yeah.
and shit. Like that's fucking
That
funny.
woman, yeah.
Yeah. And where this is just like, okay, they're gonna feed these burnt tortillas and cheddar to this blind man.
Who's also named Ray, like
Yeah.
Ray Charles,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But that's the plot point I mentioned because they ask him about the money that they're owed, and he's like, "Oh, I talked to him." He's like, "I just talked to him last night, man. They'll get you their money or
They're-
whatever." That's
they're
why I
going-
wasn't sure.
He's
Like,
got to go to Australia, and then he's going to Sweden, and then he's going to Greenland, and he's like saying all this shit
All
in the
these
background.
places.
Yeah.
The problem is that guy's actually got to go to Detroit. He's got this this music store that the Blues Brothers are going to visit.
Oh, there you
He's
go.
got to get his gun. He's going to shoot the wall.
He's got to go to the store and get some fussy pussy wine.
yeah, I was
What
gonna say, what
Yeah,
kind
Ray
of wine
Charles-
do you want?
Ray Charles definitely
Some
wanted
French
that.
thing.
Some French thing, man. Fussy pussy, man.
Fussy pussy.
And I also love just the cherry on top for that scene after he burns the hell out of the tortillas, the fire alarm goes off.
Oh, yeah.
And Chong's been hitting this doobie the whole scene. He's like, "Oh, I told you not to smoke that shit in the kitchen." He's like,
He's like, you're fucking
He's
cooking,
even spraying the tortillas down with the
With
spray
water.
bottle on the
Yeah.
on the stove.
spraying the cheese. Like, I don't want to eat that shit. It's disgusting.
man. Then he talks about like pissing on the plants. He's like, no, man, you got to pee on the plants, man. It like makes them good.
Because all the minerals or whatever, the vitamins in your pee. He's like, "Oh, that makes a lot of sense, man. You're right."
I read that somewhere, man.
That might be the closest to some of the first two films, like that kind of scenario where
Yeah.
they're just chilling, just firing shit off. Yeah, like maybe it goes on a little long, but I like it.
I mean, I'm sorry. what were
Oh
you
no, I
saying?
was gonna say that's why I kind of wish that even though there were 3 movies deep, I wish they kind of had a continuation,
Yeah,
a little
just a
bit,
little bit.
because they have this big ass house.
Yeah.
And they're musicians, so are they still musicians from the previous movies? Does that explain how they have this house?
It's already implied that they have a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Right,
you
yeah.
know?
And then they just sell weed on the side
It's like
or
this
something.
mansion house on the fucking beach.
It's nice.
Well, if
Yeah.
you go off of my theory, well, I guess I'm not the only one that's ever said this. Like I said, it's a direct sequel to Up and Spoke. Even if it doesn't totally work, it's like, well, in that first one, Tommy Chong, his dad's fucking rich. He
Yeah.
wasn't sent into military school, but he's still loaded.
Yeah.
I
He's
don't
got
know.
to build his fucking muscles picking strawberries.
Yeah, yeah. He's gonna work his way up to bananas.
Finkelstein shit, kid. Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
Oh
Like,
my God.
you're missing those characters in
Yeah.
this movie, those tertiary comedic characters. I mean, there are some, but they're. I mean, Paul Rubens is really funny. We'll get to him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
oh
I also
God.
mentioned that because Chong even says, like, "Oh, I got a new partnership for these papers."
Yeah.
Whatever. He's like, "Oh," and he's like, "Oh, they give me all these papers I want for a year and I get to use them." He's like, "Well, what do you get?" And he's like, "Free papers. You don't know how many papers I go
yeah.
through."
Yeah, free
They're
rollers.
free, man. Right before we get to Weird Jimmy, because Weird Jimmy, I want to really talk about.
Okay, yeah.
They go to
I'm
this.
trying to get to him because he's so fun to talk about.
Right. Well, they go to this fucking gym,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and like. Tommy like gives the guy who owns the gym like weed, and he's like, "Oh, thanks, man," and he's like giving him like shirts,
The chief or
and
the
like
sarge or
and like a
something?
fucking hat, and like the trophy that they won for like bodybuilding.
Every time they cut back, he has
Yeah,
more stuff
yeah,
on him.
which is funny.
Yeah, is that his payment for
Yeah.
all this? For just this
yeah.
one
This
thing of
thing
weed,
weed.
he gives him all these shirts, even the trophy.
Oh, God,
$500 in merch.
That's like Anna Silverman in fucking Half Baked.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, we paid her in weed. She was
Yeah,
happy.
yeah.
Fine. Who's coming with me, man?
Yeah, yeah. Oh god, yeah. But he gets fired. Yeah, that's great. But I love Cheech. This is kind of a running gag in a
Oh
lot
my
of their movies
gosh.
where he's a womanizer and he's just checking out this woman working out. And I love how she's just like, "You fucking pig, you creep."
No shame about it. He's standing right in front of him
Yeah.
too.
2 inches from her ass.
That's what's her face, Chong's. I don't know, wife or
Oh, okay. So,
whoever
yeah.
he was married. I think he was married to her at
And
some
then she
point.
says something to him, and then he's like starts pretending like
Yeah,
check the
oh,
seat like foundation on the ceiling.
She
Or
turns around and then he's looking at her ass instead.
counting the tiles. But she gets him good because he's trying to look cool in front of her, so he bends over on the bench press, and she like gets like all the other guys around her who are like spot checking everything. She's like, "Oh, I broke a nail," and they all
Everybody surrounds
her. And he's like, "Oh,
And
he
he's got
drops
this
it."
thing like on his neck, like choking him, which is like it's a good bit. It just
You're not
why
into
are they
that
at
one?
a gym?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, again, Chong's getting his weed deal or whatever,
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
his free clothes.
I mean, that's probably one of my favorite bits, though, is him choking on that. Because
Yeah.
then Chong comes over to help him out, lifts it up, and he's like, "All right, just one more," and
Yeah,
he lets
yeah.
it go again. On
he's like, "You're not even trying,
you
man.
gotta
Push,
push,
a little."
man. You gotta push.
He thinks he's putting a rep in.
Yeah.
He's trying to just impress this woman.
His eyes are all cross-eyed.
He almost goes full Total Recall
Yeah.
for a second.
So this is one of my favorite parts of the movie because like this is the one I remember the most because there's so many good gags around it. Is they go to visit Weird Jimmy.
Yes, yes.
And you don't talk to Weird Jimmy. Like, let me do the talking to Weird Jimmy.
Like
man.
Strawberry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Don't say anything to Weird Jimmy.
Cheech knows all these guys. You don't want to talk to if you're the wrong person.
But he has this whole like hydroponic system underneath this pool facade.
Yeah.
Like a tarp that's painted like a fucking swimming pool.
Right, the roof above all the weed.
Dude, it's like it's so fucking funny.
This is like the most weed I've ever seen in my life. The only other movie I can think of that comes close is the end of Pineapple Express. Which is also kind of a great film. I got to revisit that one. But
I watched that one not too long ago, like last year. That it's still funny.
I mean, Danny McBride and Seth Rogen are great in that. I killed him with the Daewoo Lani. Shoots him in the fucking foot.
Daewoo Lanos, motherfucker.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so much weed, and it's just Tommy Chong just instantly like, all right, let me find a barrel. He grabs the trash can before
That's
they
one of
even
my
say anything.
favorite gags is while he's talking with him, you just see Chong in the background just stuffing.
Because he's trying to talk him into giving him bud, and he's like, go get it, man. And he's just like putting it all in there.
The Cheech is trying to talk to Jimmy, and Jimmy keeps saying, nah, no bud. No bud. And he's this weird looking dude if you haven't seen it, if you're audio listeners, because you don't see the visual. This guy with like this long, like blonde mullet with glasses, and he's always smiling.
He's got a skullet.
Yeah. He's just weird looking, and he comes out with this iguana in his hands, smiling.
There's like lizards all over the weed in this place,
right?
And he's doing weird experiments, and he's like, "Oh man, electric weed, man," because he's got like all this like fucking like Frankenstein shit going on.
Dude, he's
like,
got the Buchanan technology, I think.
Yeah,
you see the electricity coming off his shit.
He's got like bubbling beakers of shit, and like, what is this guy doing?
He's got the Labrador, man.
Too much is what he's doing.
Yeah, he's too much. Exactly.
Doing too much.
He's engineering this fucking weed that apparently turns people into lizards, but like
iguanas explicitly, they say
it's only like in passing, sort of. Because like later they come back in and there's a fucking lizard smoking a joint. And I was like, was that a guy? I guess that was a guy.
Maybe
somebody.
Yeah.
That's funny as hell to me.
Yeah. But this is where they're getting all their weed from.
Well,
they're basically like stealing it from this guy.
Right. Yeah. This guy's just like getting this shit out into the market to fuck with people. Clearly, he's probably getting off on it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
He's nuts. Well, when they bring him into the police station later, that's the walnut cracking scene. He just is smiling the whole time, not even giving him anything to work with.
Totally fucking like stoned out of his mind.
Yeah.
He keeps saying, "Good buds, good bud,
good, big Mr. Big Bud, big buds."
Yeah, because they think there's some kind of deciphering thing, but there's just Stacy Keach turning more and more into a lizard, and he's just one-word sentences.
He eats a fucking bug. He's starting to turn into a lizard.
That tongue that comes out.
He shoots
Gets
the
like Gex or some shit.
Bugs.
Oh my god, bugs.
And his hands, it's like almost like, you ever see like those witch fingers that people wear on Halloween?
It does look like his hands just painted green.
Yeah,
He just has
like
nails.
claws. Yeah, smoking a joint.
Yeah, because Jimmy has that iguana. We caught two guys. I mean, maybe I'm getting put in the cart up before the horse, but just that scene, I want to just finish the thought.
No, you could. That is this part. So
okay, yeah. And it's like the two guys, like, okay, one of the guys is a fucking iguana, and again, he takes the joint, hits it, and then puts it to the iguana's mouth with a tweezer, like for like a roach.
Yeah,
roach clip,
hits it.
And the fucking iguana. I mean, it's obviously from behind the iguana, but it's so fucking funny regardless. Just the smoke.
Oh, you're so pretty.
You got beautiful
You got
eyes.
beautiful
He's
eyes.
caressing it. What is he gonna do with this thing when they leave the room?
I don't know.
Oh god, it's like American Pie, but with an iguana.
And then then there's a random cut to the pigeon that was fucking like
finally.
dead before, but now it's an iguana.
Right, it was knocked out from the smoke.
Yeah, I wish we got to see more of the lizard stuff.
That's
throughout
what I
the movie.
mean,
Yeah.
like,
other
that-
than just Stacy Keach or whatever, have somebody else that they keep giving weed to.
I mean, we do some LSD later, and like that's a perfect place to be like, "Oh man, you turned into a fucking lizard, man!" Or like Chong's like, "What, man?" And he's like, if he like picks it
He
up,
looks like a lizard.
God.
Or something. That would have
Like,
been.
that
Has
would've
the
been
headband on and everything, and his glasses.
That would have been fucking.
That would have been a better ending.
Senor Iguana.
I mean, I like the ending because it's kind of like, it is pretty funny, but yeah, if they just were turning into iguanas at the end, then that would have been something
That would
else.
have been hilarious.
Peter Jason is like, "Oh, we got him dead to rights. We're gonna take the helicopters over and we're gonna find him." And you're like, "Okay, go for it. It's a go." He like tells him on the phone, And this is the part where the helicopters go over their house and shit, where the pool is.
Yeah.
This is the gag I was referring to earlier that maybe goes on a little too long, but it
Way
is funny.
too long.
'Cause there's really funny things that are said in this, and I'm like, if you just chopped it off, it would have been such a funny scene because they're flying around and there's like these naked women on the beach. It's like, holy shit, look at them titties down there.
And they keep saying it for the next like 5 minutes, like, "Oh my god, them titties!"
Look at them naked titties on the
Well, I
beach.
think definitely the one helicopter just doesn't leave the beach.
Yeah,
the
they're
other
just
one's
chilling
tracking
there.
them.
Yeah, fuck those titties
It's like,
on
what are you
those
going
tender
up
young
for? Get
asses.
lower, go lower.
The one guy leans over, he's like, get off the stick, and the fucking thing's like going down.
Oh god, the photographer.
Yeah,
Yeah. They're like, we gotta find some place to land. We gotta get down there.
But it's a funny ass gag because the tarp rips on the pool facade.
Yeah.
And they're trying to fix it, and Cheech ends up going up there, and he's like, I don't know where the rope is, man. Do something. So he pretends like he's swimming on top of the
He's laying
ladder.
on the ladder,
Funny as shit.
doing the backstroke on the ladder.
Yeah.
And then like Chong like pulls the rope and yanks him off the ladder down into everything else.
Everything's sparking.
But yeah, that's when we talked about Weird Jimmy being in custody already. Like, Weird Jimmy has nothing to fucking do. Like, clearly he's this guy who's engineered these plants to turn people into iguanas if you smoke the reefer, but like, there's no like plan.
Yeah,
There's no
what's the
like
reason
why is he doing it?
That's pure insanity.
No,
This
I
is
know.
like Fallout, I think of instantly. They have this thing called the FEV virus, which turns people into super mutants in Fallout. And
Yeah,
there's
but I
always,
feel like there was a purpose for that.
well, there usually was. Like you actually just proved your own point. I'm like
Like a
just-
bioweapon.
Yeah, but just to finish that thought, it was one of those things where it's like, well, it's chaotic. They're doing it because they're crazy. I think it's just one of those. Like the guy's just fucking crazy. Or like if Joker did it, because why not?
I think it'd be
Yeah.
funnier if he was like, yeah, man, like the lizard is like a wonderful creature and blah, blah, blah. And like, we can learn so
Pure
much from it. You
something,
could be
yeah.
pure. Like, just like a little funny
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, whatever, man. Can we get some weed?
Or to introduce like, has he been experimenting with other things as well?
Yeah.
Is it just lizards, or does he have other stuff that he's fused with this weed?
Oh god, like
smoke-
Moreau.
yeah, like Dr. Moreau or
You're
something.
like
yeah.
a fucking cow if you smoke this one.
Oh my god, that'd be something
Oh
else.
my god. Yeah. So we're at the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, we got to the Chinese restaurant. I guess they have some of the money from selling the weed because they're just like taking order after order. They're like, keep bringing it out.
Well,
Yeah, they
big
have the big
stacks of it.
bags. Yeah, they have
Yeah.
bags of it. And
So
stuff,
where the
yeah.
fuck did they get
They're
that from?
counting it at
Yeah.
the Chinese restaurant, I think.
This fucking scene is so weird, but it has some of the best bits.
Yes.
yeah.
They're talking about
I know who you are.
God.
Oh, this
you look
random
so
woman.
familiar.
Cheech is talking about making Vato Land instead of Disneyland. And he's like, yeah, man, there'll
Yeah.
be like gang fights and like, we'll have like
That's
gang
like the
day.
second time, because when they were walking before, they were talking about making like a retirement home for
Yes.
like old hippies.
Right,
And
that's that scene where they're walking for a long time.
Yeah, they were talking about the retirement home, and now they're talking about the
like
Chicano
like
land or
laid
whatever.
back, whatever.
Yeah, Chong's gonna get 17 guitars or something, he
He's
says.
like, nah, man, I'm just gonna buy like a guitar for every day of the week or some shit.
He's like, I might get a Fender. No, I don't like
don't
Fenders.
like
You
Fender.
know what? I'm gonna get one anyway.
I'm rich, fuck
I'm
it.
rich. I'll get one. A whole room full of guitars.
You don't know what a pina colada is, man?
Yeah.
You put it in the blender.
Pina colonic. Yeah, is what he's like. Pina colonic.
I love though, this scene with the lady. She comes in and she's just harassing him, and she's just getting a kick out of this. She's like,
Yeah.
yeah, right, roll with these. I'm Santana.
He mistakes him for Jerry Garcia.
Oh, and then they
she's
really
just like,
start dying.
Yeah, I'm Santana, man. He's like, yeah, you are so tan, aren't you?
She's like introducing all her women. She's like, oh, here's so and so, so and so, and so and so. Like,
Here's, here's Linnea Quigley on the far left.
yep, her little cameo.
Yeah.
Is that really
Yeah.
Quickly? Oh
I had
my
to
gosh.
check. I was like, that looks like Linnea Quigley.
Oh, that's
Like,
awesome.
There it is.
But the Jerry Garcia, that's another, connection between this and Half Baked too.
Oh, yeah,
Jerry
yeah.
Garcia in the pouch.
Oh my
Andy
god, that part's
Garcia.
so
Oh
funny.
yeah, he partnered Andy Garcia.
Speaking of, if we didn't say it, I brought it up earlier. We're gonna actually be on your show to
Yeah.
talk about Half
Yeah.
Baked.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have actually said that when I referenced it earlier.
Well, I think it's
so check that out.
It's definitely a cross thing because he talks about getting cremated. So I think Jerry Garcia was cremated, and that's where
that's the reference.
that's where he gets it.
Yeah.
in the
Andy.
the pouch.
Andy Garcia.
Stop talking to that thing. Get serious. And it ends up being plot relevant.
Peace.
Yeah.
He instead of saying garçon, he keeps calling him gargoyle.
yeah.
Gargoyle, man. We
I
need some
didn't
more food over here.
I didn't notice that.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Gargoyle.
But that
Hey,
lady, she's
gargoyle.
like grabbing the appetizers. Oh, so nice to meet you, and walks off. And John's
Yeah.
like, the fuck?
She took my fucking
took
plate,
everything.
man.
Well, she comes back and she does it again, and he's like, she just did it again. She took my plate. Yeah, she took my plate. And she's just like, don't worry about it. We got money. Just keep bringing it out. Keep bringing it out.
here.
All of a sudden, this girl Donna walks in with Paul Rubens.
Right, Evelyn Guerrero.
Yeah,
she's
and
blitzed.
And Paul Rubens is Howie Hamburger.
Hamburger.
And they're
Hamburger.
That's the thing I remember most as a kid watching this. I mean, I didn't really understand what the fuck was happening with most of these jokes, the weed and the cocaine, maybe not even the sex. But I remember Paul Rubens coming in going, hamburger! Hamburger!
I want to know how he got with Donna at some point. How did they link up?
They had to all be friends, right? Because a lot of these movies, like even Cassandra Peterson or Elvira, I should say, is in some of their stuff.
Yeah,
so.
she's in the next movie, I'm pretty sure.
Well,
and then you both are.
Paul Rubens had the coke. And Donna was like, yeah, let me get the coke.
Hell yeah.
That's how you do that.
We need a movie. We should have got a movie just what he was doing. Like, how did he break out of that asylum?
The mental hospital?
How did he get the coke? How did he go about town picking up Donna?
I got a couple theories on that. I mean, this again, not to always bring up the movie Dumpster Universe, Wyatt, but Puget Sounds from the Stepfather universe does exist, so it's possible when he escaped with the pubes on his face in the second film.
He took Paul with him?
I think he left the door open and a few people escaped. That crazy guy from Good Burger that wanted to kill people got out.
Yeah. George Clinton got out. Yeah.
Exactly. He's dancing down the street.
Yeah, he's dancing down the street. Paul Rubens is talking about hamburgers.
Exactly. They're all hanging out at the Nut House bar. We haven't brought up bars in a while. Remember we used to have all those bars as a running joke?
Well, the Chud bar.
The Chud bar. There's the Pirate bar. There's the RoboJocks bar.
Oh, the RoboJocks bar. Yeah.
There's the Casadel Maniac or whatever the fuck it's called. We'll get to it. That's where they all hang out.
So this girl Donna walks in and she recognizes Cheech, and she just starts like making out with him. And
must have been hot and heavy back in the day.
You still got my panties. She's like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, you, yeah. And he's like, I used to date her in high school, man.
Just like licking all over his face.
My goodness gracious.
I mean, I wouldn't be saying no with this woman.
No, hell no. Well,
like, oh yeah, I remember you. Oh, absolutely.
100%.
I don't know, man. She's
I mean, she's pretty hammered.
She's fucking blitzed out of her mind.
I mean, they kind of even lean into that in a later scene. But yeah, at first she's just kind of all over him, and Paul Rubens is just staring down Tommy Chong.
Oh my god.
Like
staring him down.
And
he's like, what's with this guy?
And he's like just sniffing and shit. And this is so funny because the woman comes over. She's like, can I take you guys complimentary picture for blah, blah, blah? And they're like, okay.
So you always have a memory of the night.
She's like, oh, I want to show you my tattoos. And she like goes to unzip it. And it's like all her boyfriends like crossed out
down.
On the test. And all the fucking Chinese guys are like leaning over. And one guy falls through a fucking table.
Yeah.
So good.
And they're like cleaning it up. And then like Donna's so fucking drunk and fucked up as she's
on some lewds or some shit.
Yeah. She says she's on a Quaalude. She does say that. You're right.
Yeah.
She fucking falls over and Cheech thinks she left. He's like, Donna,
where'd she go?
Donna? Yeah. So he leaves and then like Paul Rubens goes under the table too.
He's like, come here.
He's like, and he puts like this fucking thing in his nose to like snort coke, and he's like, yeah. And
Chong's like, yeah, I got one of those too.
Yeah, I mean, if you're that freaked out by this dude, I would not be going under that table with this guy whatsoever.
Well, they do, and apparently that's where the cocaine is.
Everyone goes under that table.
All 4 of them go underneath this table and they snort coke in a Chinese restaurant.
I love how the waiter comes back and is like, oh, your lobster's coming. Anything else? Like pulls up the tablecloth.
Yeah, he's like, oh, we didn't have any lobster. Would you take beef? And he's like, yeah, man, whatever.
Okay,
they all come out with just powder all over their face. Cheech's eyes are huge.
Yeah. No Ajax this time, like we said earlier.
This is why you can't do coke, man. Every time.
I hate when you bring that up every time I do it.
You keep saying that every time I do coke. Because it's true, man.
This is what happens, man.
This is what happens.
Well, you give all their 17 million or whatever the fuck it was. Let's say it's a couple thousand for the sake of argument. To Paul Rubens because he had a check, man. It felt legit.
How does this even happen? Because Paul
Rubens
didn't
want to carry around the paper. I don't know.
Paul Rubens is sitting there and he's like the future of rock and roll has Bruce Springsteen, and he's like, what? All right, man. Can I get the check? And
does he say he was the future, or he's the one that's messing it up?
I don't know.
I think he was saying like Bruce Springsteen's like messing up the future of rock and roll.
I thought he said that's the future of rock and roll.
I think he's saying that he's messing it up.
He's born in the USA, Thunder Road. I don't know. I think Paul Rubens was onto something there.
I mean, that's the only thing I do agree with him about. Hamburgers and Bruce Springsteen should not be the future of rock and roll.
Yeah, Joe used to joke about that because I know you're not a fan of Springsteen. Years ago, you call him pseudo Elvis. It's going years back.
Yeah, I don't like Bruce Springsteen at all.
Yeah. Tommy Chong heard enough though. He was like, I'm sold. What do you have?
The balls of New Jersey. Go fuck yourself. But he's like talking about music, and he's like, new wave, and he's like saying all this weird shit, and he's like, hey man, do you know where I can you can sell me some of that stuff? And he's like, Seychelles, and he's just like saying all this weird shit.
Cheech should have been paying attention.
Yeah, you got to get out of there, you're Chong, man.
And then fucking Cheech like drags Donna off, like literally picks her up and drags her off into this car to fuck her.
We talked about this before. This is probably the most uncomfortable point of the movie, at least for me.
Man,
this scene.
You want to talk about shit that doesn't age well?
Yeah.
This is like a prime example of it. And it's not even, it's played for laughs, but like, it's not even funny. I don't even think it was funny then.
Yeah.
Well, then call me an asshole, because I was laughing my ass off at this part. I'm sorry to admit that, I guess. Because he's like basically like gonna rape her because she passes out.
That's not funny.
Well, that's not funny. But when he breaks the fourth wall, I think is hilarious.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I didn't
would
think
you
was
do
that
it?
funny.
Yeah.
Come on,
Would
you
I didn't
lying.
think that was
Well,
funny.
it's funny to me because I'm thinking on an 81, man. Like most of the people see in this movie, if you're in the theater, he's like, raise your hand if you would do it. Raise your hand if you wouldn't do it.
It's an interaction type.
But I thought
It's uncouth. I'm sorry. I thought it was funny.
I thought you were going to be the last person that I was going to hear say that. But
I even can surprise you sometimes, Joe.
that's not the part I laughed at. The part that I thought was funny was when it looks like they're fucking and he can't get her zipper open on the dress.
Oh,
that's funny.
That is funny too.
He's like,
Yeah,
oh, the
yeah.
fucking thing. And then she like turns around and he's like, oh, from the back. I take it from the back. And he like bites her belt. That shit's funny to me. Not like, should I fuck her if she's asleep and passed out?
Yeah, that's up there with, I watched it a couple weeks ago, Animal House.
Yeah.
With the scene where the chick passes out and he has the devil and the angel is like, fuck her brains out while she's sleeping.
That's
He's just
fucking
like,
weird, man.
It is weird. It doesn't
weird.
age well at all now.
It's way funnier if she's fucked up
Yeah.
and they can't, like, he's like, and then she's like, let's fuck with our clothes on. And he's like, what?
What?
They do save it. I wonder if this is them just being like, all right, he didn't actually do it, because when we see them
Yeah.
again, they're both conscious.
Yeah, she pops up.
And then it like negated the whole thing
Yeah.
anyway. And it was like, okay.
Yeah, maybe they could have.
I felt a little better after I knew she was awake.
Yeah.
Again, cut the bit. Cut the fucking bit
Sure.
off because it was funny, and then it was like, where the fuck are we going with this?
Again,
Yeah.
I wonder, maybe I'm giving the movie too much fucking credit, but maybe that was like some kind of commentary on the times, but I don't know.
I guess it's not.
They would tell you that. They're like, yeah, we totally put that in there, man.
but it's
I
not
wouldn't be
like,
shocked. They would probably act like that, right? Yeah.
I just don't think that it was a good joke.
Sure.
Yeah,
No,
that's
yeah.
all.
I'm not even going to debate that
Yeah.
one at all. But the in between that, the cops come up to him, which I think one of the cops was in the first movie when they get like all smoked up in the car.
Is it
He
the
looked
one that
familiar.
walks up to get and he grabs her hot dog
And
from
he's all
him?
fucked up, and he
I
takes
think
his-
He's like, you're
so.
gonna eat that?
It's either him or the guy when they're like in the stakeout later on.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Actually, that might have been half baked. I might be getting my movies mixed up. Excuse me. Never mind. He looks similar, is the point.
When
but-
they feed a horse and it's a diabetic. No,
right,
that's
yeah,
bad.
I didn't know, right. Weed movies, sometimes you watch them, the jokes kind of blend together a little
Butternuts.
Buttered stuff.
Butternuts.
bit. Anyway,
Cup.
these cops see the truck rocking.
Yeah.
And Chong just, for some reason, peels up in the fucking Terenzi brother truck.
The head bouncing
The
around.
head's bouncing around. Yeah, like these two fucking guys look like strippers, like Chippendale strippers.
Yeah.
So I thought they worked for.
I
Like,
thought it was like a parody of Chips or
I thought
something.
it was like a parody.
Oh.
It probably,
Yeah,
but I also
yeah.
thought it was like, I don't know, like a rival drug dealing gang or something, like dressed like cops.
They couldn't get what's the dude from Chips
Yeah.
to be like
Eric Estrada?
get him a cameo in the movie. Eric Estrada just rolls up.
He was probably
my
still
God.
filming Chips at the time.
You're right. Yeah.
5-minute cameo, right? But it's funny because Chong like pulls up and they get distracted and they shoot the shit out of the clown head. Which, by the way, we didn't mention this before, but the clown head has a fucking joint in it.
No, that's what I was saying before. Like it's very blatantly like a weed truck.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
Cops are so startled by that truck, they just start open
Yeah.
firing on his head. He's like, they killed our head, man. They blew up the head.
And she like doesn't want Cheech to stop, even though there's like everybody's getting arrested, and she's like, "Keep going."
And he's like thinking about it still.
See, that's a funny guy.
Yeah. But then it cuts to like the aftermath, and now like the cops like hitting on Donna, like trying to get her
Yeah.
number, while like Chong is like freaked out, like, oh, we got all this weed in the car, like, man.
Well, Cheech is freaked out.
Well, yeah.
He's like, they're gonna bust us, man. He's like, everything's gonna be fine, man. They're just gonna.
Chong's thing is, it's like, oh, it's an illegal search. They can't do
Yeah, they
shit.
can't
You're
do
right.
shit.
Yeah, that's one of the funniest parts
Yeah.
is because they're like, oh, you're free to go. He's like, you can't do this
You
to
can't
us,
do this
man.
to me, man. I know my rights.
I know my rights. Even if there were drugs in here, man.
You couldn't search it anyway, man.
The guy that I thought was from Up in Smoke, but was actually not from Half Baked. The younger guy is like, oh, we got him on everything. We can book these guys. And the other guy's like, well, we could, but then we got to go downtown. We got to book them. We're going to have a court appearance. We got to do paperwork. They're probably going to get out.
Here's the thing.
Let him go.
Let him go, because we're going to go fuck Donna at her apartment in about 20 minutes.
That's what they think. Yeah.
Because she's like, yeah, number 7 in the giant high-rise building with the glass elevator or whatever. And he's like, I'll be right there. Hey, guys, get out of here.
And then instead she goes with Cheech and Chong. She's like, I never made it with 2 guys.
This was pretty funny, too.
Yeah.
I kind of want to make it with you. My apartment's over there. It's the glass apartment building with the pool.
And he's like, well, oh yeah, we do it all the time. She's like, with 2 guys, and he's like, no.
This is a cool apartment. I wonder if it was just a hotel, because again, I don't know what apartment complexes have ice machines in the hallway. Is that a common thing in California?
Walks out with that little towel. Just covering him.
It looks like a hotel.
Yeah.
There's like a pool and shit.
She says it's her fucking apartment, but whatever.
Yeah, it looks like a hotel. But this was just another scene that like it doesn't
right for shooting the location. Right, it probably was a hotel.
It doesn't seem like Cheech and Chong, like as far as the concept go. I can't see Cheech and Chong like, yeah, we're gonna go have a 3-way with this chick. It just doesn't fit their brand of comedy.
That might be one of those ones.
It seems very off to me.
Yeah, like the scenarios there to get to the bits when Animal shows up, the boyfriend, because those are very funny. But you're right, it does feel
my god, hilarious! The news articles,
like,
the wanted posters
known
on
for
her
not
bed.
liking Mexicans,
known for hating Mexicans or whatever.
Cheech has her on the bed and she says, get some ice. I found out, you'll last longer. So
you'll
that's
last longer if I put an ice cube in my mouth and blow you. Or whatever.
Yeah. So that's why Chong goes out there. But Cheech sees the Vonna poster and he calls and she's like, oh, Ambo, I didn't know you got it. Oh, you broke out. Oh, you're in the lobby.
Yeah.
And then Chong comes back and he's fucking with them like David Spade and Tommy Boy.
And he's like, I gotta get out of here, man. He's like, hey, open up in there.
Open that door.
He's having a gas.
Well, she doesn't make it any better when she's on the phone. She's like, I got a big Mexican up here that'll kick your ass or whatever. He's like, what?
Don't sweat. I don't know, man.
Sees the newspaper there on the table.
Cheech probably could have done a quick, 2-minute pump and dump and just been out of there.
I think he probably could have, right into the pool. But like, he's running around the apartment trying to hide, and one of the funniest bits is when he goes into the closet and the whole rack falls and he's standing there like holding his dick. Funny as shit.
He makes the worst choice possible though, man. He's like, the balcony, okay, but it's like one of those ones you really can't step out on.
Yeah, what's the point of having a balcony then? If you
it's like really tiny.
Narrow,
yeah. You have a couple plants, that's about it.
That's it. It's to step out to smoke a cigarette or something.
Yeah, Tommy's still banging on the door. Open up in there!
So he's hanging off like the fucking Maitlands in Beetlejuice.
Yeah. So she opens and he's like, it's just me. I got the ice.
And he's like, yeah, son of a bitch. But then the fucking door won't slide back open and he's banging on it and she starts blowing him.
Yeah, Cheech is watching her blow Chong on the floor.
This is like Ace Ventura level glass, like the scene when he's opening and closing the sliding door. Yeah, oh god, Chong's having the time of his life while Cheech is shimmying naked,
I'm
by
not
the way.
fooling around, man.
Yeah, shimmying on these balconies.
Meanwhile, he looks down and he sees fucking Animal down by the pool.
This huge biker.
Who's causing just a ruckus because he's peeing in the hot tub.
He pisses on these people in a hot tub.
The whole family having fun.
Which is funny, but like, this is just such a long bit. Such a long bit.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is like 10 or 15 minutes of the fucking movie.
And
that's
most
a long
of it
time.
is Cheech on that elevator going up and down.
Naked.
Chong running around the apartment trying to find a hiding place.
Oh, God, right, because then Animal shows up and he's like fucking with him while he's getting the blowjob. He's like, Cheech, just shut up. I'll let you in a minute.
And he's like, there's nobody home.
Nobody home.
This guy punches through the fucking door and then Chong's like, he gets up, he runs.
Like he's Michael Myers, busts through and then just unhooks the lock.
Wow, this guy looks like he could probably kill Michael Myers, honestly.
Well, she even, like, whenever he knocks out one time, she's like, didn't you hear us? Nobody's in here.
Yeah, that's a good gag, too.
And he hides under the bed, which has, been
the worst spot.
replicated many times in many comedies, but this is really well done.
It's so fucking funny because he's like under the bed and then like gets on the bed and covers himself in the thing and then rolls off. And then Animal like takes Donna to fuck her on the bed and then he like rolls off the bed and rolls under it.
Oh god, well they start arguing and then they kind of are into it and then they exactly and then he is like he's like Rudy. Speaking of Rudy Ray Moore, that second movie, Human Tornado, where he's like just the feet are in the air.
Yeah.
Tommy Chong's getting plastered into the fucking carpet
with like animals' dirty ass fucking socks
in his face.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, and he's like smelling his feet.
Because he gets like halfway out from under the bed.
The bed collapses on him.
Well, when he finishes, he just falls asleep with the socks right on Chong's sides of his face.
He's like, so Cheech finally gets off this fucking elevator.
Oh god, when all the people are watching him.
And this is what I was saying before, like when he hangs off and scares those old ladies, and they see his dick, and they're like, oh, like that was it. That was
his
the
face
joke.
pressed up against the glass.
They're
And his eyes are
kinda into
closed.
But now he's like going up and down on this elevator, and people are like, "Oh, look at this guy hanging," and they're, I don't know,
Because he's on there when animals going up too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it lasts a while.
it's a long time. He goes up and down this fucking elevator butt ass naked like 3 or 4 times.
And he's like, I'm just fine. I'm just going to jump into the pool now.
Yeah.
Cheech was
Finally.
like, "They made me fucking do this. Tommy made me up here naked. We're putting as much as we can into the fucking movie."
We got to pad this fucking movie out.
We're at an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We need at least 10 or 15 minutes more.
We got to pad this out because we don't have a through line at all.
Remember Paul Rubens? We're going to get back to that in 1 second.
1 second.
Because Cheech goes up there with a towel he just grabbed off the fucking pool area. And he's like, "Come on, let me in." He's like, "There's this crazy guy in here, man.
There's a monster in here, man.
They're like talking through the hole in the door. That's pretty good
He's like,
visual.
open the door. He's like, it's unlocked, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He just opens it right up.
Where's my clothes? Like Cheech is like still naked. He's like, "Oh, he's sleeping on them."
Yeah.
Grab something over here.
Oh, he's like, "Oh, put on his vest. Put on his clothes." They're like dirty as fuck.
He's
The
like,
guy's
no,
huge.
man, they're alive, man.
Yeah. He wears like her like robe, feathered robe.
Looks like fucking Ric Flair walking around.
Whoa.
So they're walking down this hallway, and they're like, "Well, you got the money, man?" And he's like, "I got this check, man." And he's like, "What do you mean you got the check?" He's like, "I gave it to that hamburger guy all the money."
This is why you don't do coke. That happens every time you do coke.
Right, that's when he goes, "Oh, he says it every time, man." And that's like, well,
How much money has Tommy Chong lost them by
17
doing coke?
million-
But I mean,
$17
other than this
million.
one, other than this one time, they must have lost them a ton of money by doing coke elsewhere at some point.
yeah, in other movies, in real life.
Yeah, in real life.
The fucking check says like it's void and it's like filled out like all fucked up.
Oh yeah, because he
I
goes.
wonder, like, if they got the box office for this movie. Cheech looks at Chong's like, "This is why I don't let you do coke."
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
Maybe, dude.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. But
like-
it's funny though because he's like, "Oh, you don't have a driver's license?" He's like, "No." He's like, "You can't read." No. He's like, "That's why you shouldn't take checks." It's like it says like Dumpsterville on here or some bullshit address.
He gives them shit about not having an ID, but then Cheech doesn't have an ID later at one point.
Well,
That's why
he don't
do it. That's why
neither
he
of
don't
them have
do it.
ID.
No.
Yeah, it got taken away. He's got to get it back.
But yet
Also-
they're driving around in that ice cream truck every day, it seems, with no license.
What bank are you going to that's going to cash a $17 million check?
Well, he
Exactly.
says that, right? Yeah, idiot.
Cheech is somehow the voice of reason here.
I love how $17 million fits in like one of those old school lunch boxes. too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like Herman
Pail-
Munster's
yeah,
carrying
the
around.
pails.
So he's like, "Yeah, I gave the hamburger guy all our money," and they're like, "Fuck me, we got to go get it back." So there's like an address on the check that they go to.
Oh, maybe the address is legit. You're right. Yeah.
Well, it's weird because it cuts from them in the hotel or the apartment complex, and then like Jason Peter like gives them a ride dressed like women.
Those
Yeah,
were
they
the
get a ride from
ugliest-
the cops.
Yeah.
the ugliest women we've ever seen. I always forget that that's the gag, and I'm like, oh, that's fucked
But there
up.
was no setup for
There was
it.
no
No.
reason for it.
It's like there was a whole scene that was cut out.
Yeah.
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 I mean,
explaining that whole thing.
They do have when they're at the hotel where they have the gag where he won't give him the noodles, won't give him the binoculars, and he's laughing at Cheech hanging.
Oh,
So it's like they're following him, but that's the extent of it, really.
You don't find out they're the cops until like the next scene.
Yeah.
Because like, oh, those are the ugliest broads I've ever seen. And then
Yeah.
it cuts and it's the cops. And,
And
you're
you-
like, oh,
And you
what the
let
hell?
them get away.
Yeah, they had them in their car.
They had them in their car.
This is also when Noodles gets a little touchy with the other guy. He's like,
Oh, yeah.
Noodles,
When they
Noodles,
have
get off of
the-
me, Noodles.
They have the wigs on. I don't like the
that.
way you're looking at me, Noodles.
Stop looking at me like that, Noodles.
He starts creeping towards
It's gonna be a long night. Noodles is fucking smile on his face.
I know what you're thinking, Noodles. Don't even do it.
I mean, maybe we'll do some hand stuff.
Just some hands.
Just close your eyes and pretend it's somebody
Oh
else.
my god.
Put the wig back on.
All right, take it off. No, put it on.
Noodles is loving it.
Just real quick, there's a funny ass gag when they're in the hotel again when they're talking about doing coke and he's like, "Man, stupid people do coke." He's like, "Nah, man, Sherlock Holmes did coke."
Oh yeah.
And he's like, "What? Sherlock Holmes?" I don't know. I just thought that was
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
I wanted to mention.
There's a lot of good one-liners.
It's just so fucking random.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you pepper enough in there, enough are gonna land eventually.
So yeah, Casa del Wackos.
That's what it was.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
there's a good bit where like Cheech climbs the fence and Chong just opens it and like helps him down
It's
on
like,
the
"Come
other
on,
side.
help me, man."
Yeah.
Just open the slide, like
Yeah.
slowly opens that gate.
So they fall asleep.
Yeah, they bust into the place and they just go to sleep.
Not let's find this guy. They just go to sleep on the patio or something, and they wake up to like this fucking like rooster guy and like all these crazy people. It's like shot with a wide angle lens, so it looks like crazy.
Yeah, they did a good job with that.
Yeah,
part.
You know who that is, right? The Chicken Man, David McCharron. That's the guy that did the voice for fucking Shredder in both movies.
Really?
I might not be saying that right. There's a bunch of actors in this scene, like Sandra Bernhard, who's like a pretty famous like comedian, lesbian comedian.
Yeah.
She's like one of the background actors.
She's like the nut or whatever.
Tony Cox is in there.
Cox,
The midget. He's in a lot of movies.
The guy from Police Academy ends up coming there, who's also
Michael Winslow.
Michael Winslow. That's what it is.
He's basically a Jimi Hendrix Superman.
Fucking hilarious.
They have
that
like
part.
a dwarf on a little swing behind
swinging.
him.
Oh yeah.
Is that fucking what's his face? Howard the Duck?
I was trying to place it because, like, even IMDb and Letterboxd, it was like really unclear on some of these actors.
Yeah.
I thought it was Mickey from Seinfeld, but I couldn't actually find the actor's name because there's two little people in the movie, Tony Cox and another guy.
Yeah.
And then another guy, which was named. There's a few in the film. But yeah, they're in the nut house, and again, I guess because Chong's in that outfit, they think he's crazy.
They think he's
Cheech, I mean.
Yeah, they think Chong is the doctor
and
because he's in the whites.
And like he's
Right, the whites from their ice cream business.
They put him in charge of like medication or something, and like Cheech is in a fucking padded room.
Oh,
and
God.
he's got to scratch his balls, and he's like dragging his ass on the thing.
That is a funny bit because he's screaming for a couple
Yeah.
minutes,
Yeah.
and then he's like, "My balls in."
As a man, I felt him on that one. I was like, man, that's one of the worst things in the world. You
then
can't
he's
scratch
like-
your balls.
No, it's pretty
So
funny.
sad. He gets so dejected. He's like, "My balls." in."
He's scooting like a dog on the ground.
Sits down, just so defeated. My balls. in."
They're chasing after Paul Rubens though.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Where's the money?" And he gives him back the case, and there's no fucking money in. He's like,
No money.
"No."
Right before he gets grabbed and put the straight tracking on.
So there's one scene where fucking Stadenko is now full lizard, and he's like on the wall.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
and that's when the janitor. That's when the janitor's like, "Oh, let me know when you get down or whatever."
Because he has the tail now.
Yeah.
And he's the big hands and yeah, he looks ridiculous.
But we cut back to the sanitarium, and now Cheech and Chong are in the padded room.
Well, Chong's like hanging out there.
Cheech is in there, and then Chong just walks in. He unlocks the door.
Well, he unlocks the door and like sits down next to him, leaves, but then he like falls asleep because the next scene that we see him in, they're both in straitjackets chained up, and that doctor comes in and gives them fucking LSD.
Timothy Leary.
Yeah, Timothy Leary.
Yeah.
As himself, apparently, according to Wikipedia. But I'm like,
he's
he
like-
was just some random doctor.
This is the key. He's like, I just want the key to
I
get
just
out of
want
here,
a
man.
key. So I got the key to get out.
That's a fucking
Well,
LSD.
Don't they like no key, man?
They go. This is kind of an awesome acid trip scene. I
This
mean,
is great. It's one of the best scenes of the movie.
Many have been done better, but I like the simplicity of this, where just Cheech is in like this classic prisoner outfit, getting walked down this hallway by Chong in a cop uniform, and he has like a weird Brooklyn accent.
His uniform looks like some kind of like Cuban
little
cop.
bit, yeah.
Chavo
Chavo,
Guerrero.
yeah.
I don't know, whatever.
Like
one
a
of
combo
those.
of those two things,
Or like Fidel Castro or some
Yeah,
shit.
his voice is like high pitched.
And he's talking. He's like, everything's gonna be okay, man. We're gonna get you out of here.
and he passes like Donna dancing.
Yeah.
And he gets like a phone call, and it's like one of those old phones. Well, it wasn't old at the time, and it's Death holding the phone. He's like talking. He's like, "Oh, Mr. Governor, thanks for calling." And Cheech is like waiting. He's like, "This ain't for you." And Death walks him off. And he's like, "Ah!" And there's like prison cells that are passing.
What
and
is it,
shit.
Michael Winslow?
Michael Winslow from like Spaceballs and Police
Yeah.
Academy.
So Michael Winslow's there dressed like Jimi Hendrix playing a broom. And he's like, "Here's a new one for you." He's like, when he's doing like Foxy Lady, but he's like, or Purple Haze.
Yeah.
He's like, "Purple Haze."
Well, it's
on
weird
my
because I think it is like
brain."
the Foxy Lady instrumental, but then he starts singing Purple Haze.
Yeah,
It's like a black Negro on the stage. It was just, it's funny.
And he has the two
hell.
dwarfs in front of
Yeah,
him.
and
on the
Tony
stage.
Cox is standing there trying not to laugh.
And I love the shot. It's just constant zoom out, and he's walking down this hall. He's just kind of blasted with this reddish pink light. It's really kind of cool.
Yeah, it's like a nice little acid trip. Reminds me of like Fear and Loathing a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Like the lizard.
And
the
the
bar.
teeth and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he just
Somebody
kind
give me the goddamn golf shoes.
Oh yeah, and he just kind of falls through a hole, like screaming, and then wakes up. And I guess he just went through his bad trip, and now this fucking the doctor from Addams Family's there. Doctor,
You guys aren't supposed to be here.
She's got to go take care of Fester, right?
right after this, yeah, she's not actually a doctor either. She's also a patient. We just didn't find that out, right?
She sets up Howie Hamburger with a Playhouse TV show and then goes and gets Fester from
Yeah.
the Bermuda
That's
Triangle.
part of his rehabilitation. Hosting a kid. They have like, it's funny because they have like the have like the set and everything, but the cameras aren't actually
No,
on.
no.
Right.
It's all just to help him
his head.
process everything.
She's like, oh yeah, Pee Wee Herman has something to say to you. I'm very, very sorry.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
I like how they keep talking and you just hear him in the background like, I'm sorry.
I'm awfully
She's sorry. We're sorry.
Anything we could do, mind you, this is like how much, but they keep saying 17 million, but again, if it's thousands, it's like, I was like in his pillowcase. They don't really explain where it was. They're like,
'cause it
we
was
got
gone.
it back.
They had the bag and it was gone. So
Yeah.
where was he keeping the money the whole time?
No idea. He's like, here's all your money back. Sorry for the mix-up, and then just like leaves the door open to their own will.
You can leave.
Yeah.
I'm awfully sorry.
Sorry.
I love how he gets the last word, though he comes back, I'm not actually sorry.
I'm not sorry.
Actually, I'm not sorry about the money. Blah.
And they just kind of look at each other like, all right, well, I mean, we got it back. And then Cheech is like, yeah, I know a way out. It was in my fucking acid trip. It's like a secret door, like Clue or something.
The police come and they're like, we know you're in there, both of you. Get out of here. And he's like, come on, man, let's go through here. And it's like
tiny
a
door.
in the wall.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Just sneak out of the padded. Like anybody
Yeah.
that was in that padded room could have just snuck
I guess
out
they
of it.
figured,
pushed on the wall.
They probably figured Tommy and Cheech were Tommy and Cheech. That was a way to put that. You know what I meant? They were probably like, fuck it. We kind of went a little surrealist there for a minute or two with the acid trip.
Yeah.
People are kind of in that mood now. Fuck it. It's just a door there. Who cares?
Yeah, it's great. And Peter Jason's like, all right, we finally caught you, Mr. Big. And it's fucking Paul Rubens in the back seat with the doctor. He's like, I'm sorry. It was me. I'm sorry.
Like, you're making a terrible mistake, officers.
He's like, yeah, we'll see what happens when we go downtown.
Right, Sergeant. He's in the back, like now, like you said,
But
like
I
full
understand they've
lizard.
been trying to follow this Mr. Big, but like they've been following Cheech and Chong. Why don't they try to arrest Cheech and Chong?
I don't know.
Slapstick end
They're
result.
just like,
I
nope.
don't know.
Case is closed.
Yeah.
We got our guy.
And they got Stacey Keach in the back.
Right,
And he
yeah.
like pops
Hanging
up,
out the back.
hanging out the back with his fucking lizard tail. And he's like, I'm for a hamburger.
Oh God, it's gonna eat the fuck Pee Wee's head. Honestly, kind of looks like a fly.
like Pee-wee is feeding Stadenko, who is now a lizard man, hamburgers in the back of this cop car, and
It sounds like a better life than what happened to Justin Whalen at the end of Tusk.
Justin
Yeah.
Long
Living in that
different actor.
the empty zoo.
Yeah,
by
yeah.
himself.
eating fish.
I still think he should have just taken a shotgun to the fucking head.
Yeah,
but,
at that point, yeah.
Yeah, at least Stadenko's getting hamburgers from
that-
Paul Rubens.
Put that poor fuck out of his misery, and he's smoking joints too.
Yeah, he's got a pretty, all things considered, he could go to Dr. Moreau's with a stash and be set.
Dude, he's fucking drinking margaritas at Senor Iguanas.
Man, he's gonna fuck Farusha Balk, isn't he?
Probably.
Cat lady?
Yeah.
They're into iguanas,
Oh,
right?
he's definitely got a spot. He's got like a hammock.
Val Kilmer watches. He also smokes some of the weed.
Oh yeah.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Val
Oh
Kilmer.
God.
Yeah,
seriously.
What a way to bring him
Yeah.
bring him into the conversation. Fucking those animal people.
Yeah. The MDU is real.
It is real.
When did Moreau come out?
96.
Oh, so quite a while after this. Never mind.
But Stacey Keach was on that island for sure.
Oh, 100%.
He was hanging out. He was like he was the sage. He switched animals at some point.
maybe. Oh, Moreau was like, this is amazing.
This is a good idea.
I didn't know you could do that.
That's what gave him the idea.
He's like, where's that man who makes that wonderful weed? Here, come here, I did you for some biological experiments. And then that's how they turned other people into animals. Or animals into people. Yeah, whatever.
Somehow connected
Yeah.
this move, Nice Dreams, to Dr. Moreau.
Exactly.
It's easy peasy, man.
We get this final scene. And it's kind of a funny joke at first because you think they're on the beach.
Yep,
So
hanging
now-
out with their
Getting a tan.
Getting a tan.
So now they got their money back and they got away, but where's all the money now?
Cheech blew it.
They blew it apparently on something.
$17 million?
I believe it. Cheech is pretty bad. We talked about it most of this episode.
Yeah.
He's bad with money.
Yeah. So he's like, what's the matter, man? We made it. We're in paradise, man. This is great.
Not exactly what I had in mind there, Chong.
Just slowly zooming out.
We're the Sun Kings, man. Maui and Wowie.
Starting to put it together, you see the strippers getting changed to the left. It's like, all right, so man and women strip club, okay, as they're getting the uniforms on.
It's called Club Paradise, and now they're just strippers at this fucking
male stripper
bar
With these like coconut leaf hats on.
Yeah.
A coconut tree,
Yeah.
a palm tree.
Maui
Jesus.
and Wowie.
Maui and Wowie.
The Sun Kings, yeah.
It reminded me of the episode of Fresh Prince where Will and Carlton have to strip.
Dancing to Apache.
Yeah, do the Apache. Yeah.
It's pretty funny. I think Wyatt's idea of them turning into animals is actually funnier. They're just smoking the fucking weed. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, they even kind of do I'm assuming this is a reference to that fucking lotion bottle with the kid getting grabbed by the dog. Because Cheech gets grabbed by the ass by some woman, and he's like,
help me out. Help me.
It's kind of like his dream, though, like getting
right. You're in
grabbed by all these
women making money.
Yeah,
not in the way he envisioned it. I
Maybe
think is
not.
the joke, right?
Yeah, but still would have been
not right when the turntables have turned.
Yeah, right.
On Cheech.
Chong's just loving life, though. He doesn't even care. He's
you get the
just
flip on
dancing.
the flop, but it still would have been funnier if, like, if Chong was smoking a fucking joint and like Cheech looked over and he was just a fucking lizard.
Yeah, that's how you go cut
It's
the
like,
credits.
What's up, man?
Oh, full lizard. Yeah. Oh God.
We made it, man.
They actually made it to the beach.
Yeah.
They're on the beach.
And then they're fucking
They're lizards.
or something.
That would have been
I
pretty
love
good.
that.
Yeah, you cut the he looks at Chong and he's a lizard, and then Chong looks at Cheech, and then Cheech is a lizard
Right.
at him or something.
Yeah.
Gotta make sure.
Oh
that-
shit, man.
the iguana with the mustache and the beanie, and the other one's got the glasses with the bandana.
Actually, this is pretty cool, man.
That would have been hilarious.
Holy shit! Maybe they did that in one of the sequels. There's so many of them, but
I feel like you needed to wrap up the storyline with the reptile stuff somehow. It didn't really go anywhere other than just turning Stacy Keach into a lizard.
Exactly, which is funny, but it's just kind of like,
Yeah.
you okay?
They weren't aware of this the whole movie.
No.
Cheech and Chong. They had
No.
no idea this was happening.
and let alone you guys, like you were saying, what about all the other customers? I know they're focused on Stacy Keach because again, they had him and they wanted to use him. You know, how they used him, that's up for debate, like we said. But
It would have been funny to see like a lizard in like a nice suit, like that fucking guy that we saw in the beginning.
oh, the cop undercover, yeah,
Or
yeah.
like whenever they're going around, like in the middle of the movie, making their deliveries, the people that they're regularly making deliveries to are slowly turning into lizards.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they have
Yeah.
like their hands messed
Yeah.
up, or they have a tail or
Yeah.
something,
Oh
and they
my
don't
God.
notice it. Cheech and Chong.
Oh
but-
yeah, because they're like totally oblivious.
exactly.
Yeah.
But everybody they visit and deliver to, they would like one part of them would be like a lizard or something.
They'd be like, oh, why aren't you guys changed? No, you never get high on your own supply.
Yeah,
And then,
exactly.
The gag at the end, fuck it.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
That would have been hilarious.
Oh man, I hate rewriting history because sometimes you come up with better ideas. Nothing against the guys,
and
but
we're not even stoned.
No.
you know?
not anymore. I get it. It's worn off a while ago for me, at least.
But yeah, guys, where are we putting this? In the dumpster or on the shelf?
For me, this is definitely on the dumpster. I kind of alluded to that earlier. I like this movie quite a bit. On a rewatch, if I didn't say it already, maybe Up in Smoke is actually better. I think I had said differently over on Cinema Trip previously. But yeah, this is still pretty good. I like it a lot. I get where Joe's coming from on some of the things that didn't work for him, but for me, I don't know. On some of those slow moments, maybe that's when I picked up the bowl and took a hit, or went in the other room and grabbed a soda, so it didn't bother me as much. But
Yeah.
if I was watching in the theater, that might have gotten to me a little more, or if it was my first viewing. But I've seen this one many times. These first three films, maybe I don't get to them every year, but I'll watch one of them probably every year around this time, just to kind of get that feel. Sometimes I'll go over to Idle Hands and kind of mix it up, and in fact, I need to revisit that
There
one.
you
But yeah, this is kind of always on rotation for me. I don't know. There's just something about it. Not necessarily the best shot movie or directed movie in the world. And yeah, not all those jokes land, and there's a bit too much meandering. But when they do land, they're funny as shit. I like the side characters again, Donna and Howie Hamburger Dude or Hamburger Man or whatever the fuck he is. Even Animal's kind of funny for the little bit he's in there when he's arguing with Chong. I don't know. I just like it. I wish that the rest of their movies were better. And shame on me for not revisiting them in a long time, but it's kind of like Hellraiser, where like you watch it once and you're like, wow, these movies went to shit. Do I really want to revisit that? But you start to forget things, so it's like, I got to go back down memory lane. I think I'm due. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but maybe they should have ended here. Maybe they should not have. Obviously, their careers went on for a long time, but yeah, the magic started to fade here, unfortunately, after this film, and it's a shame.
Yeah.
A lot of good bits here.
It got to a point where Cheech had to go and broaden his horizons, like
Yeah.
Nash Bridges and like other stuff he was in.
He became like an actor. Like,
Yeah,
like,
an
and did a
actor.
bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is in the dumpster for me too.
Yeah.
I definitely remember liking this movie a lot more when I was younger. Even, smoking while watching it didn't really help much. It didn't really help much,
Which
especially
is a drag.
it is a drag. Because I mean, Up in Smoke is one I watch yearly, especially
Yeah.
like on 420. I even watch Next Movie here and there. But yeah, this one doesn't hold up nearly as well. It has too many scenes that just go on way too long. I think it definitely has some funny bits here and there. There's bits and pieces that I think would make a good movie if they would have kind of fleshed them out a little bit more
100%.
and had a more of a coherent story throughout the whole thing. But yeah, I think, like you mentioned at the beginning, is kind of the start of the decline for old Cheech and Chong here.
Yeah, man. I got for 3 for a dumpster, man. I remember we were talking about it too. Like, I remember really enjoying this when I was a kid, and I thought everything was way more funnier in my head. Like I remember all the pieces, and I'm like, no, yeah, they turn into fucking lizards, and then this happens, and the thing with the pool.
Well, you're remembering all the funny parts and forgetting the filler. Yeah,
but it's literally like a handful.
I remember the lizard thing being way much more part of the story.
Bigger,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
It's window dressing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So watching it upon this rewatch, I was like, holy shit, it's really got no meat on the bone. And I'm like I've said it multiple times in this episode, but like, if they just thought this out a little bit better, they could have made it funnier. The skits kind of go, some of them go nowhere. Some like when there is a lot of meandering, like you said, and it's them walking around, getting from one place to the other, and like that's filled in things like Up in Smoke with the foil of the cops and Stacy Keach like being on their tails and stuff. So it's not just Cheech and Chong, Cheech and Chong, Cheech and Chong.
There's reasons for them to go these different places.
Yeah, exactly.
They even though they have Paul Rubens and Evelyn Guerrero in there, kind of to enhance some of those scenes. In specifically Up in Smoke, they have those two female characters they pick up halfway through that actually are pretty fucking funny.
Yeah.
And have a lot of scenes with them too, besides just the cops.
Yeah.
So there's just I like this movie, but you're right. That first one kind of nailed it. The second one still was picking up the pieces.
Yeah.
They put a lot of the heavy lifting on Peter Jason's back, I feel like. And
he's just not as funny.
He's just not as funny, and there's not a lot of funny tertiary characters. And Paul Rubens is there, who's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But like
he's only in like 2 scenes.
But
though,
he
3
really
scenes.
doesn't have too much to do, and he's just a weirdo.
Yeah.
Like it's funny, but like he's just like hamburgers and
Or,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Which is funny, don't get me wrong. It's just I wish there was a little bit more to this, and it's a drag to come back to it and be like, oh, it's not as great as I remember it, and I always hate when that happens.
Yeah, happens occasionally on the show too.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, that's kind of a drag. There are some funny bits, but they're so few and far between. I don't even know if I could even recommend checking it out. Like,
wow, you don't say that too often.
I don't say it too often. And
I'm
like,
usually the one coming with that knife.
yeah, this is one. I think this is one of the Cheech and Chong movies. Probably out of a few other ones that are going to go down the line, but like where you're better off just looking up a best of like on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can see that if you really don't want to sit through it.
The pool
I
bit-
think it's worth it, but I can't even necessarily argue that one because you're right.
If you're not stoned and you want to watch this movie,
You're not a diehard.
Yeah, like my point is, there's other funnier Cheech and Chong movies to watch rather than this one, and there's funnier stoner comedies to watch than this one.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I would even say Half Baked's probably actually better.
Oh, Half Baked's
Oh,
way
100%.
better. Half Baked's way
laugh
better
per
than
minute
this.
at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not enough for me there. It feels like things just run on too long. I really love the bit with the pool, but again, that's a little too long too. And
Yeah.
and it's like also mishmashed with like the helicopters and the titty thing, the titty joke.
That goes on way
Yeah,
too long.
that,
And it's
that
like-
kind of detracts.
It's just too much, and like I think they didn't have enough material, so they stretched out what they could, and it hurts it overall.
Yeah, because it's already a short movie.
Yeah.
And then you take out all those extended scenes, it's even shorter.
And it's
Okay,
only
we
just
could've-
over an hour.
And it's just over an hour, or maybe 50 minutes, like a cool 50 minutes.
Yeah.
If it's cut up nice and tight, where the jokes land. You know.
One thing they could have added is those cops when they arrived at Donna's. They could have had a scene with them getting the shit beat out of them by
Yeah,
Animal. That would've been
yeah.
kinda
Oh yeah,
funny.
we forgot that because like as they're leaving, the cops are like, "Yeah, we're gonna go upstairs and go get that Donna chick."
Does she have a friend? I hope she does.
that would have been hilarious. That was something they would have done in like Up in Smoke or something.
Yeah.
It would have been hilarious if they were walking out of the
lean
thing.
into the incompetent cop kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, but if you had Cheech and Chong like walking out, like talking about something mundane, and then the cops get like thrown off the
Into the
balcony into the
pool or
pool
something,
or
yeah.
something like that would be funny.
Yeah, I totally understand.
So like we're making up jokes that could be put in these spots, and it's just
Yeah.
weird that they don't do it. And like I wish there was more to that lizard thing because that would put this apart from a lot of the other stoner comedies.
That was also why I
Yeah.
suggested it too, because
Yeah.
it has that element from memory without watching
Yeah.
it before suggesting, and
No,
it's like, yeah,
and-
that's a weird part of it.
But I was with you there, man. I was like, yeah, I like Night Streams. If I had to revisit it, I didn't realize that I wasn't going to enjoy it as much. So
yeah.
it's kind of a bummer.
I mean, it would have just been helpful to have Cheech and Chong something to do, like a reason they're going to the Chinese restaurant or a reason they're going to this place. Like I hate to keep going back to Up in Smoke because it's obviously the better one out of them
Sure,
all. But
yeah.
like even like where we got to go to Mexico. How are we going to Mexico? Well, this guy calls deportation on himself.
Yeah.
so he can get a free ride to Mexico. or
right,
whatever.
wearing this suit and
Yeah, he's wearing this.
already
He's
got, the
got a
dress.
wedding to go to or whatever.
That's a fucking great gag.
Yeah. like they find reasons to go to these different places, or I don't know. Here they don't have that.
There's
It's just
no-
showing up at different locations for some reason.
There's no wit. that goes with them that I think they're funnier than this.
Yeah.
And
you had
again, the ice cream truck is just a weed truck.
Yeah, and it's only really used in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. Like it should be their ice cream truck, like a legit ass ice cream truck that they sell weed out of on the down low.
You would think they would do more with that. I see what you're saying.
It's not a cover to sell weed. They just sell weed.
Yeah.
You know?
And they have the
Terenzi brothers. They were selling ice cream to get some pussy, but that was basically their cover.
But that's the goof.
Yeah.
That's what makes that funny.
And we didn't even talk about, they have like the weird throwback like 40s comedy, and whenever they're like racing to clean up when they're getting caught.
Like the Benny Hill.
The Benny Hill type stuff. They have the
yeah.
music, like the piano music playing, like it's the
Stooges
film's
even.
sped up, so they're running fast and everything. It felt so out of place compared to everything
Forgot
else.
about that, yeah.
So it was like, oh, this is a weird kind of reference.
Yeah.
Like comedy reference, but you don't have that anywhere else in the movie.
Not only is it dated, it's not even done real well because, like, it's funny you just mentioned that because I had just watched Naked Gun, the first movie.
Oh, yeah.
Because
that holds up great.
Well, the new trailer dropped, so I was like, oh shit, my wife never saw it, so let's watch it.
Oh, nice.
You want to talk a laugh a fucking minute?
Hilarious.
That movie's
one of the
fucking
best.
hilarious.
Hilarious.
But
Second one's great too.
But that bit where Leslie Nielsen's in the dude's office and he presses the piano button and the fucking player piano plays, and when that whole scene where he's like dropping the vases and lighting the plates on fire and the player piano's playing, like that's hilarious. That's real. That's how you do that. You know what I mean? So it just feels weird and dated and not great and kind of like they didn't feel like making a movie and just did it just because.
Yeah, because they had the
money
deal.
to do
They had
it.
the deal.
'Cause they
like,
had a deal and
you
they're like,
guys want to make
whatever.
another movie? I guess so. We
guess
can.
so.
You have anything? We'll figure out something.
I mean, again, I didn't do heavy research, but a couple interviews that seemed to be the case. I mean, they didn't necessarily come off as bitter or conceited about that, but you could feel it in the room that it was like, yeah, exactly. They got the money, the studio's behind them. Fuck it, yeah, we're gonna do another
It's
one.
like
These
the
are
Tom
make
Green
bank.
syndrome, where they're like, "Here's a ton of money, make a movie." It's like, okay, I'll do whatever I want to do.
But also, make no mistake, they're having a good time making it.
Oh, yeah,
they're getting
well,
high and they're hanging out with their friends and they're just.
I'm
making a
not
movie.
even making this comparison, but I think of Sandler a little bit. Not
Oh,
a big
kinda.
I know
Sandler.
what you
I'm
mean.
more of a early
bringing
Sandler
your buddies
fan.
in.
Yeah, why not? Fuck
Yeah.
it.
Maybe not 1-to-1, but yeah, I see what you
It
mean.
makes sense.
At least like having a good time. That's the point. You're making the movie still at the
Yeah.
end of the day, but you're hanging out. You're smoking the bowl. You're shitting or you're shooting the shit.
You're on the production company's dime.
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah,
it.
yeah. You're shooting some stuff you don't even know is gonna work, and I mean, we just talked about it for a while. What worked, what didn't, and I just wonder what people how they reacted when it came out is always a little different than how we're gonna react many years removed. Even if you saw this when you were younger, your taste change over the years. You know,
And they just about broke even on this movie. So like I'm also wondering like how they're getting the next movie deal. Like is Cheech and Chong done by this point? And I feel like they make this movie after this called The Things Are Tough All Over.
Okay.
And in that movie, now I've never seen that.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen
So
it.
and that's not directed by Tommy Chong. It's directed by somebody else. I don't even know if it's written by Cheech or Chong.
After this came out, they're like, "Yeah, we need a director." Find one of these.
Well, it was like well, it's like let a writer and a director take these characters and do something with them, and then we can make them profitable again. I think that's might have happened, but I've never even heard of that movie. And apparently, they play like two like Indian limo drivers or some shit.
okay,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that one doesn't age well, but now I'm kind of curious. I might have to look that up.
Yeah. Okay, they did write it. So Cheech and Chong did write it, but Thomas Avildsen directs it. So yeah.
Well, maybe I'll report back on a live show if it's worth doing. We'll come back maybe next year, but keep that idea in the back of your head. I don't know.
And they're like shady Arabs or something, not
Maybe we
Indian.
won't cover that. I don't know
That might
about
not
that
go
one.
over well.
I will watch it though.
On Stadenko's chalkboard, it says "fuck Iran." Like,
Oh my god!
By the way,
I forgot about that.
God.
so something was going on at that time in the politics. Yeah, but yeah, man. Thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for hanging out with us. I'm very excited that you actually finally got to be on the show.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
the first time.
Thanks
which
for
was
having
cool.
me, guys.
Yeah, totally. It's
a great time.
So tell everybody where they can find you in the show and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. You can find Cinema Trip Reviews on YouTube or pretty much anywhere that you get your podcast. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and leave a good review. Helps us get the show out there to a lot more people. And of course, we have a review coming up with you guys talking about Half Baked, which is going to be an awesime time.
You gotta go watch that one.
It's starting to be like a reoccurring thing, like a 420 special with Movie Dumpster every year now.
I love with that. It's great.
I've been trying
I
to
dig
get,
it.
I mean, you kind of spurred the idea when we went on your show a couple years ago, but I've been talking to Joe about doing something for 420. It never kind of lands.
We got to finally do that Ginger Dead Man special Patreon thing
Oh,
where we
God.
actually smoke a doobie and fucking watch the movie.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
So get high
Yeah,
real time while
yeah.
we're watching Gary Busey turn into a cookie.
I'm
that kills
100%
people.
down for that.
That would be kind of fun. Again, it's Easter this year. I don't know if that's going to actually happen. Not that I necessarily celebrate, but family stuff happens.
Yeah.
But I love the idea.
Yeah, I mean, everybody just gets together to have dinner, family shit.
Well, I mean, as far as Ginger Dead Man on 420.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably not going to happen.
I mean, 100%. Well, Passion of the Crust
there
is
you
one
go.
of those. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. That works.
Critters 2, I was going to
Yeah,
say.
there you
but
go,
I
Critters
think we've
2.
beaten that egg to the fucking into the ground enough.
We did a commentary track, an episode, and I think, that's about. I think that's all we got out of that
Watch
one. And a
along, too.
watch along we did.
Jesus.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
Great movie. But anyway, Easter 420. Enjoy, folks.
But yeah, if you want some more Movie Dumpster content, you can head over to patreon.com/Movie Dumpster. You can get an ad-free audio version of the show for only $2 a month, and you can get some other great stuff at the $5 and $10 tiers. We also have YouTube memberships if that's what you want to do. Help support your favorite show.
And if you're watching here on YouTube, please like the video and share it, and subscribe if you're not already. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast app, please leave us a 5-star rating and a like and a review if you got the time. Even a sentence helps. Get the word on the show, get more people in here, and grow this dumpster community. We really do appreciate it.
Those reviews help more than anything else, so if you can leave that 5 stars or leave that comment or share that YouTube video, it really, really helps the show. But if you want to buy some stuff, we have a store on MovieDumpsterPodcast.com. We also have a calendar there. We can figure out where the Dumpster Boys are going to be. Coming up on May 17th, we're going to be at Creep Show Beach Show, presented by Found Footage Festival, Crypt Video Rentals, and Vintage View Cinemas. They're going to be showing Creep Show on a giant screen on the beach where they filmed Something to Tide You Over in Seaside Heights, New Jersey. You don't want to miss it. Grab your tickets now. And then from July 11th to the 13th, we're going to be at VHS Fest 9. They got an awesome lineup this year, including special guest Frank Henenlotter, which is amazing. And that, of course, is going to be at the mighty Mahoning Drive-In Theater in Lehighton, PA. So grab your tickets now. So yeah, MovieDumpsterPodcast.com.
Smoke some of that Easter grass. Smoke if you got 'em.
So that's it. That's Cheech and Chong's Nice Dreams from 1981, directed by Tommy Chong. I'm Joe Lascola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
And I'm Wyatt.
Thanks for visiting the dumpster.